Zegola batudde wan'ebirowoozo bingi walanga n'empewo yino bwenkomonta singa nalina byoya singa nze neebukidde n'engwe ey'omukibuga Kampala ewali yabagalwa luno jjuuzi lwembadde Kampala nze sikutendera abaana bagenze mu maaso omukulu n'omuto abakyala n'abaami tewali kulera ngalo ssebo bonna bakeera kukazana ogenda wa genda waffe Kampala ogenda wa genda mu kibuga Kampala ndabire olabakeeyo otuuse Kampala nebakulu oyitangayo gwe wamuzeeyo oyitangayo iwaabo tukangayo ku mugambe baaba abaana bamutumidde simpusindozo mubuzangako ab'egomba ne Butambala Gimalei njagala kudda ku butaka tuwayenga n'abandi bennaleka abandi saabasiibula nga zitwala Kampala yeekolera omwana w'ekibuga Kampala yeesanyusa ogwo kwambala Kampala nga mwambazi buli musono omupya Kampala bakwambala yeeriira bulungi nabawanyirira yenywera bulungi nabawanyese owulira bulungi otuuse Kampala oyagala ebirungi egende Kampala Kampala yeekolera omwana wa site Kampala yeesanyusa ogwo kwambala Kampala nga mwambazi buli musono omupya Kampala bakwambala yeeriira bulungi nabawanyirira yenywera bulungi nabawanyese owulira bulungi otuuse Kampala oyagala ebirungi egende Kampala Kampala no kuli Bulaya. Genda Kampala nze kuli Amerika. Tugende Kampala. Jangu tugende. Tugende Kampala. Jangu tugende. Tugende Kampala. Jangu tugende. Tugende Kampala. Kuli mu Amerika. Tugende Kampala. Kubera Canada.
This is the state of the nation. Irifa Uganda. We are deliberate, we are reasonable, we are uncensored. The state of the nation with Henry Ssali.
Welcome to the State of the Nation. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. I would like to invite you once again to the State of the Nation. If you're not yet here, Boboli Wanongo Tulava sharing Gamba Bantu Bajiba Wolidize. We are having an honest conversation. And this is not out of the blue. This is something that has been encouraged by our leader, the principal of the National Unity Platform. My name is Henry Ssali. This is the State of the Nation. Before we start, as always, we wish to acknowledge this land on which the University of Toronto African Alumni Association operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land for the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still home to many indigenous people from across the Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. Again, welcome to the State of the Nation. My name is Henry Ssali. I am located in Dallas right now. I am in Dallas from Sana Wakavi, whether known in Yoba na Toronto Mbagala Nyuna Kasana Kano Bade Nokso Kanenkalia Mukonenka Ulira. Kansubire wafujo Christmas enungi wajenjoyinze era wetegekedde omwaka omupya 2022. My name is Henry Ssali. We are having an honest conversation. I have received many messages, inboxes, abamunga bangamba guy shoji counseling tozobola kuleta Christy. First of all, I got to know about Christine during one of her deliberations after the Kayunga elections. I didn't really know her personally, neither was I following her per se. But I have a duty to fulfill. I have an audience. When my audience asks me to bring someone, I will bring them. Now, sometimes I will bring people that will, for some reason, offend others, because baloza controversial. We are a media house that hosts everyone. If you have an opinion to share, you either reach out to me, or if my audience troubles me to find you, I will find you. Do you have time to come? I reached out to Christine. She did not reach out to me. I reached out to her because my audience wanted to listen to what she has to say after the Kayunga elections. But it's not just about Christine. Even the principal himself has challenged us to have honest conversations. Ele struggle ya fefe na Uganda ya fefe na kitegera abaganda bagamba nti ensowele kwagala ye kugwa kubwa kitegera abaganda bamu ne bagamba nti kirinde kigweyo afumita mu kira. Abaganda era tugamba nti ebyonooneka nga ffenna tulaba tobinenyeza munno, oba ekyonooneka nga ffenna tulaba tokinenyeza munno. Olw'ensonga eyo wobeerawo omuntu yalowooza nti nno ebintu tebikolebwa mu ngeri gye birina kukolebwamu. The solution is not to censor them, but to listen to them. That is what we call participatory democracy. My friends, if you're out there and you're upset that I am hosting Christine, you need to look into the mirror. That is the problem. Christine is not the problem. Henry Ssali is not the problem. The state of the nation is not the problem. Neither is it the Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi, who, by the way, gave us an opportunity, he gave us the mandate. He actually challenged us to have these honest conversations. Mwami Kyagulanyi alina essimu yange. Singa yali tayagala muteekeko program eno, yandibadde akubidde n'agamba mwana kyaliwa. Eyo program togihostinga. Tannaba kunkubira ku ssimu. He knows that Christine is coming here. Ekirala, I have invited NUP leaders to this conversation. I speak with the spokesperson for the National Unity Platform. Mwenaba mumanyi mukimanyi musajja ali busy. He is extremely busy. Department gy'akulira mu parliament eri busy. He also has a young family. My show is always on Sunday. That's the only time he has to engage with his family. So when he tells me that achali busy talina budde bujja ku show, I am not going to force him to come. Plus, I understand when he tells me that he has a young family to take care of on Sundays, which is when I host my shows. The messages I have received asking me to abandon this show, I didn't even get those messages during Besje's show when I hosted Dr. Besije, right? Now, there are some people who were reasonable. Struggle, now some of them were having very serious concerns. Some of them were having a conversation. But if I did not respond to you, I am responding to you now. But this is show Christine, especially because she's a woman. If you know me well, I am kind of the feminist in me. Cannot listen to you when you're asking me to cancel a female guest, a show for a female guest. If you know me well, or you say wanga chaza mucha nomugamba mu counseling oba tomutegeera bulungi ntegeera ekyokubiri. Let me set the record straight. I was a member of the People Power. I still take myself to be a member of the People Power movement. I am not a registered member of the National Unity Platform. And you know the reason why I left on the inception of the National Unity Platform. The deal was not to create a political party. Our deal when I joined the struggle was to remove the dictator. I don't think the structures, the current structures, have the capacity to remove Mr. Museveni. We cannot break those structures and overthrow him. Until you realize that fact, we are going to continue struggling. Ajja kutubanga obululu tumutwale mu kooti ze atusingireyo oba twabandoninga emisango tugizze mu bantu naye nga we are not going to go anywhere as long as we are still working under the same structures that are oppressing us. We must dismantle these structures. How we do that is we come together as a people. We listen to those who disagree with us, even amidst the pain. Ensowera ekwagala yekola ki? Ejja okugwa ku bbwa erinunire. N'ebyonoonekanga ffenna tulaba tobinenyeza munno. My name is Henry Ssali. This is the State of the Nation. We do have a guest today. My guest today is Dr. Amanda Nakaggwa. She's having connection troubles. So as soon as she is well connected, I will bring her on the conversation. Tuulize kyagamba. Na mirembe bale kujja kutulabako na mirembe we agamba. We are waiting for Christine. Kwetulinyo kyekyo na mirembe we bale nnyo kubeera nga following different people with different opinions have been given an audience. I agree. Kyekyo mbagambye audience yange yonna buli aŋŋamba nti omanyi Christine alina kyatugamba nja kumuleka. Oera wagamba nti ate kino bakiri mwenna nja kubaleeta the Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi bw'anaaba naye alina kyayagala okugamba eggwanga. Of course, he's my colleague. I'll bring him. He knows about the state of the nation. Omwami Kyagulanyi yinza okungamba nti njagala kugenda abantu ne mugana okujja. No, sisobola. Naye ate sisobola gana muntu mulala alina kyagamba. Engamba nti agwe tebakwagala sijja kuleeta. Again, my name is Henry Ssali. This is the State of the Nation. We are deliberate. We are reasonable. We are uncensored. Merry Christmas and enjoy the show. Christine, welcome to the State of the Nation. So Christine is having trouble with her connection. I hope it's not going to be like this throughout the conversation. Wanga abantu beetaaga okuwuliza ki ky'ogambye eggwanga, wagambye oli ready okubuulira abantu ebirowoozo byo. At some point you even told me that you have shared some of your ideas of what should be done. I think we should engage in these conversations honestly and candidly. Mikwano gyange mwenna abali mu NUP mbagala nnyo. Of course, bukimanyi nina emikono mingi nnyo mu NUP. Some of you have worked with you. You know my ethics. You know how I work. Some of you have agreed that we have fundamental disagreements on how to approach the struggle. And I appreciate those who come into my inboxes with respect and have honest conversations and have honest exchanges of ideas. I think that is okay. I think that is fine. I respect that and I welcome each and everyone who is able to come nagamba mwana Ssali kano wandibadde okalowoozaako bwoti ne mugamba nti ndaba ndowooza kakyamu ako twandibadde tukirowoozaako bwe tuti ekitegeera nagamba nekyo kikyayi that is completely flawed. This is the approach we should be taking. I like those conversations. None of us is completely true or perfect or correct until proven so. Ekitegeera tewali alina complete knowledge on how things should be done until they are done together. Unless you say that, you know what, then that way we can say that omusajja yatugamba tukolewe tuti ne tukikola ne kikola. Kitegeera tumaze omwaka mulamba mission 2021 nga twagala okola ki kujja kwa omusajja atandise n'otubba obululu live atugamba agende ku TV n'atugamba ngenda kuwangulawo nga tanabona kuwangula. Najja ne tumukuba akalulu bulungi nnyo naye n'amala n'alangirira omuntu omukyamu ne tusirika. That is the kind of leadership that we have. Ekitegeera omusajja ajja n'atugamba ngenda bakuba akalulu e Kayunga ne mugamba osaaga ne mugenda you go and mobilize people. You put in money, you put in people's lives, you go and mobilize people, they go to the vote. Never let a box y'obululu ku makya ssaawa 12 nga ballot box ejjudde obululu, and you allow that to proceed, right? Ne bakuba akalulu oba ne balangira omuntu omulala ne mukkiriza notabeerawo mbeera yonna eteekebwawo. Mwami Museveni mu 1980 he wasn't even number 2. He wasn't even number 3. Mwami Museveni yali number 4 in those elections, but he decided to go in the jungle. Nagenda nafuuka omuyekera najja na disrupting eggwanga kati yalifuga. He is not an authority on the rule of law. When he broke the same law, ogenda mu nsiko okulwanyiza government yali legitimate at the time. He is doing the exact same thing. Okujja nayimirira mu maaso gaffe n'atugamba ngenda kuba akalulu mu Kayunga. N'agenda e Kayunga. Candidate we ne bamukuba akalulu ne bajja ne balangirira the wrong candidate ne tusirika. Ale mane mungamba temutoleta Christine kwogera naffe. Christine abawulidde kye mulina okukola temwagala kumuwuliriza mulowooza ati she doesn't like you. What are you going to do when you become leaders then? If you're going to talk about tolerance, if you're going to talk about participatory democracy, we must be willing to listen to those people who do not necessarily agree with us. Those people who think that we are taking the wrong route to achieving what we think is total freedom. Gwe budde n'ogamba ono Ssali kamugamba atali kukkiriza Christine kujja kwogera ku state of the nation. First of all, the state of the nation welcomes everyone. Everyone. Encha audience yange bwe nangamba twagala kubuuza Museveni ebibuuzo muleete. If he's willing to come to the state of the nation, nja kumuleeta. This is a media space. This is a media space for everyone who has an opinion to say. We're not going to censor anyone. I am going to ask Christine tough questions. You wait for them. I'm going to ask her tough questions. But you have to give her an opportunity to explain herself. Kazokenzako ka music katono nnyo nga bwengezako okuyamba Christine okuyingira mu kubanga I think she's having trouble coming in. Kale kati n'olwekyo lwaki sibawa ku mwana muwala.
Babe, I wanna give you some time. My sweet motama, yeah. Baby, come closer, yeah. Oh, yeah, single sika, yeah. Babe, I wanna give you some time. My sweet motama, yeah. Baby, come closer, yeah. Are you a lover? Yeah. Are you a lover? You give me love, give me more and more, yeah. Follow you, I will be your protector. I'll be always by your side. Kufa John Collins, find the roadside till you come. Give me love, give me more and more. Now you're just so alive. This is love. Feel like I'm losing you. You should know I forever wanna be with you. Oh, yeah, single sicker. Babe, I wanna give you some time. My sweet motama, yeah. Baby, come closer, yeah. Oh, yeah, single sicker. Babe, I wanna give you some time. My sweet motama, yeah. Baby, come closer, yeah. I swear to God, I never found this kind of love. You're my baby, you're my telephone. The shaka panado, yeah. guno mukwano mungi baby. Give me love, give me love. Give me more and more, give me more and more. Follow you, follow you. I will be your protector. Moraho, ikanje byose nejya. Nimekuchagua wewe. Feeling like I'm losing you. You should know I forever wanna be with you. Oh yeah, single sick. Oh no, yeah. Never wanna give you some my sweet mutima, yeah. Baby, come closer, yeah. Oh yeah, single sick. Oh yeah. Never wanna give you some time. My sweet mutima, yeah. Baby, come closer, yeah. Oh yeah, single sick. No. Never wanna give you some time, baby. Oh yeah.
All right. Bana webale kubeera ng'okyatugoberera. Robert message yo ngirabye Robert sita yagamba tomuleta. Unfortunately data akyamulemeseza, so Robert oyinza okubanga eddagala likyakola. Naye nga bwe nagambye Abaganda tugamba nti ekyononeka nga ffenna tulaba tokinenyeza munno. Ate era tugamba nti esowera ekwagala yekugwa kubbwa. Netugamba nti kirinde kigweyo kumita mukira. Tetwagala kumita mukira, ate tetwagala ekintu kyonna ebintu byonna byononeke nga tulaba. Kubanga there won't be anyone to blame. I think it is important for us to have these conversations, however hard they might be. When you say that, do not bring her, you are going against the principal's encouragement to have an honest conversation. Simanyi oba wakirabye oba tewakirabye. Naye principal yatuwadde mandate, yatugambye bagayi bange, we need to have an honest conversation about the direction of the struggle against dictatorship in this country. Did you read that? Wakisomye chobate wakisomye. Wezingo wunji nabalabye nga muri basanyufu nnyo bwe responding ku Dr. Ssali Nyanzi's public apology, literally, about how the events that have been going on. In fact, mu submission ya Dr. Ssali Nyanzi yagambye nti abooluganda bita n'ebikonagana tebikolaki tebyatika, kati ffe tujja kubeera bulungi. Nze ne mwami Kyagulanyi tujja kubeera bulungi. Christine Nakaggwa ne Ssali ne Kyagulanyi bajja kubeera bulungi. Abooluganda bita n'ebikonagana tebyatika. Honorable Kyagulanyi yagambye nti we need to have an honest conversation about the direction of the struggle against dictatorship in this country. In this country, it means Uganda. For those of you who may not know, it is the oppressors, it is the oppressor and not the oppressed who defines the course of the struggle. Reading all your comments and thoughts, it seems clear that Museveni is pushing the people of Uganda to the limits. I want to assure you all, people, that we are listening to you. Okawulidako, njagala kubakakasa mwenna abantu nti tubawuliriza. This is a leader who is telling you that they are listening to you. Kati gwe mwami Robert sita bove ologamba nti Christine tomuleta nga mwami Kyagulanyi yatugambya let us have an honest conversation. Ifenna ng'abantu. This is our country. Uganda yafe fenna. Together, let us have an honest conversation. Together, we must remember that each one of us has an equal stake in this country. We also have an equal responsibility to deliver our nation from this mess. That's an acknowledgement. It is a mess. Uganda is a mess. Mwami Museveni bw'aba asobola okuyimirira ku TV n'abagamba nti Kayunga ngenda giwangula nga kalulu tekannaba kutandika. Ku lunaku lw'akalulu ne mukeera ku makya ne musanga ballot boxes nga ziri stuffed ku makya nga temunnaba kutandika kulonda. Naye nga ballot boxes ziri stuffed zijjudde obululu. Ne mutabeerawo kye mukola. Ne mukuba akalulu, omuntu ne mumukuba akalulu ne balangirira gwe basinze. Ne balangirira gwe basinze ne mutabeerawo mbeera gye muteekawo. Nga mwami Museveni mu 1980 teyali wakubiri oba wakusatu. Baamukuba akalulu ng'ali mu kifo kyakuna n'agenda mu nsiko nti baamubbye akalulu. My friends, we need to ask ourselves, are we being honest? Do we really want to deliver this country? Ask yourself. You look at the mirror, look into the mirror. The problem is not Christine. It's not Dr. Christine Amanda. Ajana kugamba nti mwana, the struggle is taking the wrong route. It is not Ssali Henry, State of the Nation, who is hosting Christine. The struggle is the problem is not Kyagulanyi. The problem is you gwagamba tweta Christine kuba tetwagala muwuliriza oba Christine gyayogera tetubyagala. You are the problem. Maybe you're not the problem, but the person you look at in the mirror, that is the problem. Tunulira omuntu oyo gwolaba mu mirror omugambe naye mwana kyali gwe. Kiki kyongamba ndowooze? What are you telling me to think about? Mwami Kyagulanyi akugamba wano. He's telling you here, before you ask what your leaders are doing. By the way, he paraphrased one of the American presidents, even though he did not cite him. But that's a direct citation from one of the American presidents, who said that ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. For those of you who are following American politics, before you ask what your leaders are doing, first ask yourself what you are doing. Our duty as leaders is to encourage and offer guidance. This is guidance. He is encouraging, he is offering guidance. Atugambye buli omu gy'ali aveeyo having an honest conversation. Whatever you can do individually or collectively, do it. What other instructions are you waiting for? Omusajja mubaddemu munenya wano buli kaseera avuga tulinda kyotugamba kyetukola, tulinda kyotugamba kyetukati abagambye. Engage in hard conversations, engage in honest conversations. Yet my friend Robert Sita is here telling me toleta Christine. Kati gwe oli awo ng'ogamba toleta Christine lwakubanga toyagala kuwuliriza Christine by'agamba. Do you want a free Uganda? How different are you going to be from Mr. Museveni if you don't want to listen to Christine? Christine omukyala yeekolera ebintu bye atalina mmundu. All she has is an opinion that she has to share. Do you think you are the kind of leader we want? If you are going to go against Mr. Kyagulanyi's advice, that do whatever you want, collectively and individually, to deliver this country from the chains of operation that it's in. Are you being fair to the struggle? Are you part of the struggle? Let each one of us be as disturbed and as determined to cause change. Let each one of us be as disturbed and as determined to cause change. Buli muntu yenna abeere excited. Buli kimu ky'olina okukola, oba oyagala kwogera, oba oyagala kukola, kyonna ky'osobola okukola mu buntu bwo nga ggwe kikole. When he says that, I don't think Mr. Kyagulanyi is encouraging Mr. Robert Sitter to censor people who do not agree with them. Ngenda kukozesa engero ezo ssatu oda zembagamba. Abaganda tugamba nti ebyonooneka nga ffenna tulaba tobinenyeza munno. Ekyonooneka nga ffenna tulaba tokinenyeza munno. Eggwanga lyaffe bwe liba lyonooneka nga ffenna tulaba tulitunuulidde. We cannot blame Honorable Kyagulanyi. We cannot blame Christine. We cannot blame Ssali. Tegera, gwokozeewo ki? Gwe mwami Robert Sitter, what have you done other than trying to censor some people who are bringing some conversations to share? What have you done? Mulida Christine, she's still struggling with the internet. She's still struggling with the internet. I would like to see her as well. Together, Mami Kyagulanyi agamba nti together as a people united, we can and must remove the dictatorship. We can and must remove the dictatorship. Mchala Christine, Amanda Nakaggwa agamba, I don't know what's happening, man. My internet is disconnecting. I've tried to connect on Wi-Fi as well as on data, but I keep disconnecting. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to communicate with her. So luli abadde agezako connecting naye nga the funny thing is that this always happens when later Dr. Chiza Besigye, the internet continued and to loop. It was always looping and looping. But I'm pretty sure once she connects, we shall have a serious conversation, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. It's almost 40 minutes into the show, and she hasn't been able to connect. Dozerinya mulira baliri awo. Kasokenzi jokano. She is trying to connect. She's obviously trying to connect. Naye, this is weird. It never happens for it never really happens to people abali mu diaspora, people in the UK or anywhere in the diaspora. Usually their internet tends to be more stable than the internet in Kampala. I'm not sure why Miss Nakaggwa's internet is unstable. Leero bulijjo ntera okuwaayiriza mwami Museveni naye simanyi oba mwami Museveni ali yagenze Bungereza n'akwatamu eno internet. Nkitegeera. The point is, nze omulimu gwange ngukoze era nga bwe ntera okukola omulimu gwange ngukoze. Omukyala wuyo muleese atanaba connectinga. Ani ali live nga naye ali live luddawa ongambye ali live naye simanyi live wawaali ali live luddawa mwami Mutyaba Francis, mwami Mutyaba ogambye nga naye ali live naye simanyi live luddawa wawaali. Do you mean that Miss Christine is live on Facebook? I'm not sure what you're trying to say. But yeah, we are trying to have a conversation, and I think this is an important conversation for us to have. The new year is coming. We had a mission 2021 to accomplish. We haven't been able to accomplish it yet. In fact, Batansotuba. She's live on her Facebook account. That's weird. So Mwami Mutiaba Gamba, she's live on her Facebook account. She can't be live on her Facebook account and on this one. Hmm? I think she cut it live to come here. I'm not making these things up. You can see. I'm not making these things up. You can see she's right. Her name is right there. Again. Her name is right there. Christine Amanda Nakaggwa. That's not my name. And you can still see that the internet is looping. Of course, the software I'm using is slightly different from Facebook. Facebook is lighter, has a text lighter internet. The platform I'm using uses heavy data, which means you need to have a very stable internet connection in order to be able to join the studio and have a coherent conversation. All right. I'm not sure if she's on her Facebook account right now, but apparently she's trying to log on. That's according to the messages she's sending me. That's according to the messages she's sending me. Naye nga tweyanziza nnyo mukyala Patricia Twine, thank you so much for that update. Mr. Mutiaba Francis, thank you so much for that update as well. Mwami Robert Sita, nkwagala obeere ng'owuliriza conversations zino. Hopefully in the future ojja kungamba aleeta Christine kati engeri gy'obadde ngamba tomuleeta. I'm hoping that in the future ojja kungamba gwe guy mwana akomyawo Christine oyo abeereko by'atugamba. I think that's what we offer here. We offer an opportunity to each and everyone. We have honest conversations. They may not be easy conversations. Honest conversations are never easy. Kyova mu Buganda fewaffe mu Buganda omuzadde bw'aba akubuulirira. Actually bw'ogenda ku reply ya mwami Kyagulanyi gyawadde Stella yagambye Stella olinga senga omuzi w'ennyo ali awo. I don't want to paraphrase what he said, but in essence he was telling her that waliwo obeera annoying naye ng'ate by'oyogera birimu ensa. That's why he always tried to reach out to her, find out bane kiki ekigenda mu maaso mwanyinaze kiki ekigenda mu maaso. And I'm glad that they have reached this milestone. I hope it's going to yield some good things. Okay, she's not live. She's not live because she's trying to log in here, as you can see. She's trying to log in here, but of course our internet is looping. Again, thank you so much for the update, Chala Patricia Atwine. Thank you so much for that update. I want to thank each and every one of you who is still with us, even without Christine on the show yet. This is not supposed to be me having this conversation with you, but I find myself in a dilemma where I have to explain what's going on while keeping you updated on what's going on with Christine as well. I think that each and every one of you, like Honorable Kyagulanyi rightly says, has a brick to lay on the struggle. Nsuubira nti buli muntu yenna ali wano. Everyone is interested in listening to these conversations, even those who have been trying to deter Christine from coming for the conversation. They also have something to share. They have something to add to the struggle. It's challenging sometimes. Tetwagalira ddala kuwuliriza abantu batugamba nti ekyo kikyamu. So she has actually completely gotten out of the studio. So hopefully she's going to Kamugamba restarting Egundi actually. She might need to restart her phone. Can you restart your phone? Yeah, these are hard conversations, and honest conversations are hard conversations. That's what makes it honest conversations. I always want to refer to my background, my cultural background. Nga Ssali sekitoleko omwami Omuganda. Okutubuulirira edda baatubuuliriranga naye nga bakubuulirira owulira nga bakuvuma. Era nga toyagalira ddala kuwulira ssenga byagamba oba waliwo, there's always that uncle who comes and tells you the honest truth that you don't want to hear. Nkitegeera nagamba gayigo toyagala kusoma bitabo naye tolina gy'ogenda kukola ki kulaga nga you have to olina okubirya. If you want to do well genda olya ebitabo. Nkitegeera if you want to kwegamba wabeerawo omuntu oyo ajja nagamba tekyokola kikyamu. Okuba nnyo club kendeeza kukuba club oba oyagala okusakisidinga mu kino. Nkitegeera tosobola kubeera ng'osula mu club, genda mu club n'obeera essaawa 12 ng'ate watuuseyo essaawa 2 gwe wagiguddewo ate gwe ogigaddewo kyokka toyagala okubeera mugagga nga gundi ajja nabeerayo 1 hour n'adduka. Nkitegeera twebeereremu enjogera eyo mwe mwagitandika mugikozese mwebereremu. Omuntu ne baba bagamba nga temwagala muwuliriza, pick that one thing, pick that one thing gy'olaba nti this might be beneficial not just to you but also to the community that you serve, within which you serve. We have a responsibility to our communities. We have a responsibility to our audiences. These are tough conversations. No one is willing to have these conversations. And when we come here, do not assume that we don't have other things to do. I'm a busy guy. By the way, I'm an extremely busy guy. Musajja musomi ebyokola nina bingi naye ngamba eggwanga ndyagala. N'olwensonga eyo nja ku offeringa those 2 hours to come and have these honest conversations. State of the nation, it's easy. Programs is really easier. There are some programs which are easier to engage with. There's no confrontation. But where are they taking the country? Abamu mwambuuzizza lwaki saagenze Uganda this time. Nabagamba nakola show ya gundi ya passport na immigration. Nabagamba sigenda kujja Uganda this December deliberately. It was a conscious decision. Sijja kujja Uganda kubanga sigenda kusaba invitation kugenda mu nsi gye nazaalibwamu. Lwakubanga I'm not carrying a Ugandan passport. I'm not going to ask for an invitation letter to go to Uganda. Bomba temwagala kundaba Uganda sente kanzitwale e Dallas ewa Trump oba ewa Biden gye mba nzisipendinga. Nkitegeera temuzeetaaga muli bulungi. Nkitegeera Christine she's back in the studio. I'm not sure if she restarted her phone. Can you restart your phone, Christine, if you hear me? Here I sent you a message but I'm not sure if you read it. Nkitegeera Nabagamba earlier on, nabagamba sigenda kujja Uganda kubanga sigenda kusaba invitation kujja mu nsi gye nazaalibwamu. I'm an indigenous Muganda. There's no reason why I should be asking for an invitation to come and visit my family or check out my estates. Why? Why should I ask for an invitation to come to Uganda? Lwaki? There's so many diaspora. Abantu badala mu diaspora bagamba bagala nnyo ensi yaabwe biki. Bagamba okola tangible things. Ebintu ebibahatinga tebagala bikola. You think I don't want to be in Kampala right now? Why am I in Dallas instead of being in Kampala? We want to have these honest conversations. NUP yogedde ko immigration policy eyo. The indigenous Ugandans who do not carry Ugandan passports have to ask for an invitation to come to Uganda. Nze omusajja gwe bayita Ssali sekitoleko nsaba invitation okujja Uganda nga n'omunakenya naye asaba invitation kati actually omunakenya teyeetaga na kusaba invitation kujja Uganda oba mu Tanzania oba mu Sudan oba mu Nyarwanda. Nze Ssali sekitoleko nsaba invitation okujja ewaffe. How does that make sense? When has NUP, which is the leading opposition party, by the way, I'm putting NUP in this position because you are the leading opposition party. When have you had that conversation? When have you had that conversation in Parliament? You have let that policy slip through without you questioning it. However, your Christine now questioning the way the struggle is moving forward. Mugamba ati mumulete. Uganda yafefena. Leo munatugana okujjayo lwakubanga tuganye okusaba invitation letters okuleta mu nsi gye twazaalibwamu. Teri mu Canada. Kabe mu America. Eyazaalibwa mu America oba mu Canada. Ava mu Canada n'agamba kati ngenze kubeera Uganda na ending up ng'afunye akatabo ka Uganda nga ina dual citizenship oba biki. N'asalawo nti kakati nkomawo Canada n'amugamba asooka osaba invitation okujja Canada. Bw'oba oli mu Canada oba oli mu Canada, bw'oba oli mu America oba oli mu America, bw'oba oli mu na Uganda oba oli mu Uganda oba oli mu Uganda, myamaani indigenous mu Uganda. Nkitegeera. Ebijja byaffe byonna manyi gye biri. Ebyamama wange manyi gye biri n'ebya taata wange manyi gye biri. Kati gwe okungamba nti nsaba invitation okujja Uganda. You think you're going to keep us away from our country? You're joking. You're joking. We may not come right now, but you're not seated. We are not seated. Kale, kambayetera Christine. Kasera kano kenyini Christine. People have been waiting for you for ages. Welcome to the State of the Nation. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and why you are excited about this conversation. Welcome to the State of the Nation, Christine. Introduce yourself. Do you hear me? Speak. You're not speaking. Christine, do you hear me? Christine, do you hear me? We see you now. I think that the internet is much better. But I'm not sure if you hear me. Do you hear me? Christine, don't put it. Christine, jako headphones, don't put it on headphones. Christine, you don't hear me. Meanwhile, Patricia Yagamba, as for Stella Nyanzi, she has always been open-minded. She's point blank. She says it as it is, but some people expect her to sugarcoat some facts. Byebyo munnaye si byange bya mami bya mchala Patricia tuine na kyabagamba. Christine, do you hear me? You restarted your phone, but for some reason you don't get audio. We do not get your audio. What's going on? Christine, do you hear me? Christine, do you hear me? Lero wabula otadde ku tension mukyala Christine. Abantu abatayagala yogere bangi, so oba tosobodde kwogera ogenda kuba obawadde gundi gye baagala. Buddeko. Everyone is home using internet. Let me explain this. Okay. Angambi mwana abantu bonna bali waka buli omu ali ku internet. There's like a message, ne? We don't let me we don't hear you. abantu abatayagala Christine ayogere basanyufu. Christine, omanyi waliwo abantu bangi abatayagala oyogere, ompulira bati ompulira. Christine, do you hear me? This is the sweetest drama I have experienced in a couple of months, and as the year comes to an end, because next Sunday will be 2022. The last show of 2021 has been like the most interesting. Christine, do you hear me? Christine, do you hear me? Take off your headphone. If you don't hear me,
What's that?
Christine?
Oh, that's my phone, my other phone.
Sorry?
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Thank you. See you later.
Yeah.
There should be.
Christine, do you hear me? This is love. Okay. By the way, go enali ku program nkwebaza okubeera nti obadde patient osigaddeko tekawo ka comment yawo onkuba olwali kubanga kirabika leero program yange naawe ngenda kweyogeza paka wanafuna obudde obwogerayo ne wadaba atuwaddeyo 10 minutes. We've been on the show for about 59 minutes. It's almost an hour. Of course, we haven't heard from Christine yet, but we shall when she gets an opportunity to speak. Nkwebaza okubeera nti otugoberera amidst the challenges. Thank you so much. We are on YouTube, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook. Bobo ina Periscope nayo kwetuli nayo gyetuli. We appreciate your support. Ekitegeera byaffe manyi bya quality. We don't have to have 20,000 people listening in. We just need those ones that matter. Abagenda okuwuliriza ba taking action. I had no idea how many people listen to this conversation or even watching when it's live. But when I was Friday, when I take a post Christine, I've been receiving messages which is weird. Because human nature is money. When you tell people that don't do this, they will do it. But first of all, never did I consider scheduling the program. But some of you didn't respond. The people that I responded to are the ones that are being reasonable. About the rationals, that might be derailing the struggle. Gabagabina their own suggestions on how to proceed together. I respect that, and for some, I try to have those conversations, but I still told them that I'm happy to host you guys, but what I'm not going to do is to censor someone. I think it is very important to listen to people, especially those we don't always agree with. Together. Mwami Mutyabo Francis, webale okubeera n'obuwagizi obwo. Tujja kumulinda paka wanasobola okwogera ne mukyala Atwine Patricia. Kitegeera. Mwebale okubeera nti we muli mutubuulira ebigenda mu maaso. Mukyala Christine. Ate obadde mu motoka kirabika wandibadde oddayo kweyo neighborhood eyo. Neighborhood ebadde ne network nnungi woberedde mu motoka. Era okuba oti totuwulira. Yeah, this network is frustrating. If only I could share all the messages she's sending me. Unfortunately, I don't have capacity to share them. Naye nga ali mugamba nti bannaye ebyokwogera nina bingi naye network enkoze bubi. So, first of all, state of the nation, Erioko times is really weird. It is a Sunday. Some people do work. Some people in the diaspora do work on Sundays. But some people in Uganda, on Sundays are the only times they have to spend with their families, especially those who are in the political arena. Together, Nabagambye, I spoke. I have interacted with Honorable Senyonyi. I've invited him to the show, mainly because he's the spokesperson of the National Unity Platform, the main spokesperson of the National Unity Platform. Of course, while he may want to come and engage in these conversations, the timing is somewhat wrong. It's a Sunday evening. This is when he gets to spend time with his young family. He has a young family. I respect that. Like when someone gives me a reason that is based on family, I respect that. When he has time during weekdays, wanangamba naye omanyi mwana gayi gwe ndi busy ku parliament naye tekayo show ku lunaku bwe luti ku ssaawa ezi. I will try to host them. Course Honorable Kyagulanyi bw'anaba alina obudde obwogera nga alina kyagala okuyisaawo naye nja kumuleeta ekitegeera. So for those of you who are frustrated, abagamba lwaki tuleeta ku NUP leadership ya NUP njiyise. In fact, kantu alina omukisa guno mpite ne leadership ya NUP mu diaspora mwami alina ebyona. Bw'oba olina ky'oyagala okuyisaawo, you are welcome. Mwami Karim, bw'oba olina ky'oyagala okuyisaawo, you are welcome. Mwami Joel Semakula. These are all my colleagues, by the way. These are colleagues. We speak, we talk about different issues. They understand where I stand. They respect it. I respect their opinions. I respect how they are approaching the leadership in the diaspora. They have done some good things. Some of them have done some good things in terms of mobilizing. But they know that just because I don't agree with what you're saying doesn't mean that I don't respect you or respect your opinion. You see, I will respect your opinion even when I disagree with it. Kale gwe ekyo bw'okyo osazeewo okukola kati tewali buzibu naye nze sikiriziganya nakyo naye nkirespectinga. Mbasaba bwetyo bwe tubatubeera omuntu ne bw'oba alina kyayogera nga tugamba this is completely flawed. Ekitegeera tukiwulirize ekintu ne bw'oba tokkiriziganya nakyo, there might be something that you learn from it. You might learn how the people who are delivering it are doing so. Mwami Agwe Asim Ahmed, thank you, man. Thank you for joining us. Honest conversation tekyaganye nno giri muzika muganda wange. Honest conversation nkyagiri muzika. Ntandise baatuwadde mandate. Omukulu yatugamba nga 18 December to engage in honest conversations. Abantu bakyebuzaabuza tebagala kwengaginga mu honest conversations. Nkiraba kati nze nga bulijjo nja gitandika nabo bajje bafollowing in. Of course, people have different opinions. People have different approaches on how to engage in an honest conversation. Naye nga Abaganda bwe tugamba ekyonooneka nga ffenna tulaba tokinenyeza muno. Ensowera ekwagala yeekugwa ku bbwa. Ate era kirinde kiggweyo afumita mu kira. Tetugenda kulinda kufumita mu kira. Ekitegeera tujja kwaniriza ensowera eyo etwagala etugwe ku bbwa. Ekitegeera tukatu engage in those conversations. Tulabe kiki kye tujjamu. Ate era ddala tetugenda kutunula obutunuzi kulaba ebintu nga byonooneka nga tusirise. Ekitegeera kubanga tetujja kubeerako gwe tunenya. Kyonooneka nga ffenna tulaba tukinenyeza muno. Ekitegeera mwami Mutyaba yagamba nti oyo ani Christine bwalwawo n'okumuleeta. Christine nalwawo muleeta. Oyo Christine walwawo n'okumuleeta. Twagala abantu abalina ku birowoozo ebizimba. Okay, there you go. Olaba nze mbagambye this is not my databulgo mungamba. Tegera kati ye mwami muti abalooza ne loono muleeta. By the way, I didn't know Christine until that message that she made after Kayunga. In fact, my cousin in the UK sent me the link. After my cousin sent me a link, another colleague of mine in Toronto sent me a video of her 20 minutes of deliberation. And then another one was like, yo, we need to listen to Christine. Okay, you guys want to listen to Christine? Nja kumuleta. Nemunonya. Kitegera paka inafuna essimu ye, nemukubira, nemugamba abantu bagala kuwuliriza. Nagamba kale, tolibuzi. Nze nja kujja, nagamba nze ndi NUP era nja kujja. Mbereko kyenjogera kyembulira eggwanga. The same reason, in the same way that I invited the doctors, nali sinawa kuleeta aba doctors mu diaspora nga tewali abaleeta. Kitegera. Zinimbaita ya hata aba doctor bano mbakole ki? Mbaleete. The protest is almost done. I think the ministries are acting the way they should be acting, which is a good thing. Which is a good thing. Christine, obonye ne gundi bana. Obonye ne internet. Nuli wabadde oyiseemu nno naye nga totuwulira. Do yiseemu naye nga totuwulira. Bane batugoberera mwebale kubira nti mutugoberera. Mutusonyiwe okubera nti we have these challenges. Naye nga tubeerawo mpola mpola. Katudde mu dakiika emu.
This is the state of the nation. Rifa Uganda. We are deliberate, we are reasonable, we are uncensored. The state of the nation with Henry Ssali.
Yes. Mugamba mutya abaganda bange, mugamba mutya mwebale kubeera nga mutufollowinga. Christine we akyaganye. Mulese naye akyaganye. Ekirungi mwamulabye ku katono nnyo kifaananyi kye. Ne mutegeera nti I'm not making this up. But now tasobodde kujja leero, I think I'm going to have to ask her to tell me a time when she will be at home. Kubanga leero abadde alina okukola, right? So it's tough sometimes okubeera nga olina okukola internet, usually Wi-Fi yo ku mulimu eyinza okubeera nga eri weak, oba even data might be weak. Together, maybe when she's not working, if she's at home, then we can have this conversation. If you want to listen to her more often, of course, I'll bring that suggestion to her. Dabe chichalooza, chichatugamba, chichagamba, why going to chikola. But other than that, I can see that she's still struggling to come in. I'm going to ask her to restart her phone again. Hopefully, ejakola. But again, I want to take this opportunity once again to extend my invitation to the leadership anywhere. NUP leadership, FDC leadership, which other parties are there? Mwami Mugisha muntu yani mpozi. Mwami Mugisha muntu zipati bajita batya. Yeah, Mwami Mugisha muntu, you are welcome to come to this conversation, to this platform and engage in this conversation. Mwami Museveni, mwenanja bayita zina buzibu. Nenga mugamba ki amazali bagagenze gatya kasubira amazali bagagenze bulungi. nga otulinda Christine nga katusoke twejjukanyemu kano kagundi kalw'omushana nga wetulinda Christine.
If Mr. Museveni wanted to have Kayunga, he would have it. Because you see, your assumption is that we're a democracy. We are not. Actually, I'm against that pretense of letting them have it. Because you say, no, they lost Uganda. Museveni losing Uganda. If he didn't want to lose it, he wouldn't lose it. I know what we go through in Western Uganda. More especially grounds where is deeply interested. It's terrible. So if they decide to do it their way, they will do it. But because you are one of them, this Kyagulanyi gang, they are one with Museveni, he craves for their legitimacy and will therefore give them some ground and they share. You see, you had introduced a very, very important topic here, but we didn't discuss it deeply. The amendment of the
public finance management, which is now an act.
Yes, yes, they are passed.
Yes,
and it related to the oil and gas law.
Yes,
because they amended the two. Now I have it on good authority. The whole of the Kyagulanyi gang was bribed, given the money, not to make it controversial, to make the debate controversial.
I beg your pardon?
Yes.
Are you saying the National Unity Platform was bribed?
Absolutely.
Not to cause any controversy
Yes.
with the passing of this bill?
Yes.
Which is now
That's
the law.
why it has passed calmly. It's not been brought into the realm of public debate. Even when they had capacity to raise hell, because they have the numbers to stand and force counting in the lobby, the media would have picked it from that stage. But they did not. Why? Because they ate. Unless I have a win. Now, this Kayunga case of the chairman LC5 is secondary. The other one is critical.
Okawulidako. Mwami w'omushana ye agamba nti biiru eyo our NUP who do have numbers in parliament decided not to speak about it. Kitegera. They decided not to raise any kind of awareness. They didn't bring that bill to the public arena for it to be discussed. And therefore that bill has been silently enacted. In other words, it has become law. This is a bill that was talking about oil and gas. It's together. We cannot take these for granted. These are serious allegations. These are serious allegations. It's together. We need to ensure that when such things happen, either whoever has been implicated comes out to dismiss them, or if they don't come out to dismiss them, we are going to take them as truth. And will you blame us? Should you blame us? Will you blame us? Should you blame us? I don't know. You decide. You decide. Mwami Romushana bw'avaayo n'agamba nti no NUP bagibribing okusirika ku biiru eyo ekwata ku oil and gas nga tewali muntu yenna abyogerako other than him talking about that, not making that kind of allegation, and none of the leaders in the NUP have come out to dismiss it publicly, or at least as far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen them come out to dismiss it. It's together. That is problematic. When there's such an allegation, people should come out and dismiss them. If they don't come out, then you have to ask yourselves, is it true? Is it true? It's together. Angela Christine, I don't know what's going on, man. I have no idea what's going on. We've been waiting for you to come live for more than an hour now. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. Nenga mwami Romushana mumuwulidde. Mumuwulidde? Mwami Romushana mumuwulidde. Allegations zakoze zili tough. These are tough.
If Mr. Museveni wanted to have Kayunga, he would have it. Because you see, your assumption is that we are a democracy. We are not. Actually, I'm against that pretense of letting them have it. Why you say, no, they lost to Uganda. Museveni losing Uganda. If he didn't want to lose it, he wouldn't lose it. I know what we go through in Western Uganda. More especially grounds where is deeply interested. It's terrible. So if they decide to do it their way, they will do it. But because you are one of them, this Kyagulanyi gang, they are one with Museveni, he craves for their legitimacy and will therefore give them some ground and they share. You see, you had introduced a very, very important topic here, but we didn't discuss it deeply. The amendment of the
public finance management, which is now an act.
Yes, yes, they are passed.
Yes,
and it related to the oil and gas.
Yeah, I want us to discuss this clip. This clip is very important. This clip is very important. Together, I don't know how true the allegations Mr. Romushana is doing are, but if they are true, I want to challenge any leaders in the NUP, specifically the NUP, because you are the leading opposition party. Muveyo mwakanye ebintu bya mwami Romushana bye yagambye. Is it right or is it wrong? Eh? Is it right or is it wrong? Mwami Romushana bye yayogerako bituufu. Were you bribed? Are you part of NRM? Are you just mutuvugisa buvugisa kiki ekigenda maaso maani? Kitegeera. So let me have this conversation. It's not coming out the way I want it to. The way I want it to. It's not coming out. I can't share it. Okay, so I know what to do next. Let me change it. Something different. Please bear with me. Please bear with me. I want to give you a good show, but at the same time, I want to ensure that we are getting the information we want without fear or favor. Without fear or favor. Okay. Ainala. Kichimba kuba emiziki emirala, mbongere emiziki. Muli bulungi, mweyagala. Mugamba ki naye? It's not working the way it should be working. I don't know what's going on. Lema omuwulidde naye. Lema omuwulidde. Muwulidde ng'akikuba. Lema omuwulidde ng'akikuba. Lema kansubire Christmas yakugendedde bulungi. Ne Haji Musawo agamba ki? Subire Haji Musawo ali bulungi. Subire Haji Musawo agamba bulungi. Christine, I think you should restart your phone, so get off Get off, go and restart your phone, or change your phone. Kitegeera. Yeah. Kitegeera. Naye nga wenna batufollowinga oyinza otwegattako ku YouTube n'oyongera okuwuliriza biki bye twogerako. Bw'oba olina kyoyagala okwogerako ng'oli awo mwami Mutyaba oba owulira oyagala kujja mu studio ng'ombuulira ng'ombuulira wawe mba nkuweereza kalinki ng'ojja ng'otunnyonnyola ng'olwaki olowooza mukyala Christine alibadde namuleeta dda. Nkitegeera mukyala Atwine Patricia bw'oba olira ng'olina kyoyagala okusharinga n'eggwanga ng'ongamba nga nkuweereza linki ng'oyingira studio right now. We still have about 30 minutes before the end of the show. Bw'owulira ng'olina kyoyagala okubuulira eggwanga mpeereza ka message inbox me either on Facebook oba wandiikawo mu comments ongambe nkuweereze link ngikuweereze mu Facebook otujoining obeereko ky'ogamba. Gwe wenna ali eyo ng'otulaba ng'oyagala kujja mu studio ng'ongamba nga nkuweereza link ya studio ng'oyingiramu oba olina internet ennungi nga tukuwuliriza kiki ky'ogamba eggwanga. Nkitegeera kiki ky'ogamba eggwanga. Mwami Kyagulanyi yatugambye tulina okukola ki? We have to have an honest conversation. Kitegeera. Are you ready for that honest conversation? Do you want to join the conversation? Yeah. If you want to join the conversation, send me a message, inbox me. Of course, some of you are just wondering, where can we inbox you? Sindika kusimu eyo. Inbox me, WhatsApp, ngambe guy, mpereza link, mbulire n'amannya go in full. Nsobola okuyingiza nga nkutegedde. Nkitegeera kuyingize nga nkutegedde. Okay, mukyala Christine alabika amaze n'ayingira. Mukyala Christine oli ready otuwulira? Dr. Christina, do you hear us? Owulira? Yes, no? Yes, no, maybe? Do you hear us? Otuwulira? Lwaki totuwulira? Otuwulira? Christine, otuwulira? Christine, you don't hear me?
Naye nsonyiwe internet ebadde nkyamu nnyo. Ate kakati boosi yagezeewo simuwulira simulaba.
Tondaba oba tompulira? Yekyo okyali mu Christmas. Do you hear me? Tawulira. Tekako computer yo. Totuwulira. I don't hear you. I have so many questions for you. Naye tompulira ate nga njagala nkubuuza ebibuuzo biddemu. Christine mulaba tampulira. Do you hear me? Tompulira. You don't hear me. Bane bomba mumpulira mu abali eyo. Write in the comment that you hear me. Bwana nyiza okuba nga nze sewulira. If you're watching us, write that you are hearing me. Kubanga simanyi oba Christine ampulira batampulira. Nze muwulira naye tatuwulira. Loud and clear. Christine, don't worry. You don't hear me. Christine. I think she's in the hospital or something. Do you hear me? Audio. Your audio is not working. You don't hear me. Christine, you don't hear me. Are you reading that? Someone write a comment saying that Christine, we don't hear you. Like a trampoline. Okay. See how you go. Christine, you're live. You're on camera. You are on camera. You are on camera. You are on camera. You are on camera. Yeah, and so unfortunately, she's I don't know why she doesn't hear us. Nayenga abantu kireka bagenze mu church ne basaba essaala. Ne bagamba omukyala oyo tetwagala muwuliriza. Nolwekyo nga tusabe ebiba bibeere nga bitaddaganyiziddwa. Nkitegeera. Yeah. Christine, we don't hear you. We don't hear you. Christine, we don't hear you. Olaba abantu baagala kuwuliriza nze wedda bampuliriza for 1 hour kirabika bankooye. They have been listening to me for 90 minutes actually now. 90 minutes. So Christine, do you hear us? You don't hear us. Can you just talk? Because you don't hear us. I don't know. It seems you don't hear us. Can you just talk? Okay. She cannot see or hear us. She cannot see or hear us. Yeah, the honest conversation has started. Honest conversation tugitandise. Talabika tawulira. She's not tatuwulira bambi. Tatuwulira. Naye nga nakibagambye nti ekyononeka nga ffenna tulaba tukinenyeza munno. Kirinde kiggweyo afumita mukira. N'ensowera ekwagala yekugwa kubbwa. N'olw'ensonga eyo, even though this honest conversation is going to be hard, we must engage in it. Tulina okwewuliriza ne bwe tuba tetukkiriziganya na bye twogera. I think what is important is for us to engage in these conversations, interrogate some of the ideas that are being shared by some of our folks or different people. Tumale tugambe ani mutuufu, lwaki ono ye mutuufu. What is the evidence surrounding some of the events that have happened over the last couple of years? We need to have these conversations. They are tough conversations. They're tough conversations. bw'oba oli eyo ng'owulira olina kyoyagala okusharinga n'eggwanga, reach out to me. What reaches out to me, reach out to anyone golaba nti atera okunfollowinga omugambe mwana oyo kyali mugambe nze n'ekyo kugamba eggwanga kiraba. Me, I'll reach out to you. I'll reach out to you. I am a very formal guy. I'm very decent. I am very reasonable. I will reach out to you kugambe mwana. You said ABCD. If there's anything you have said publicly, I'll probably refer to that as reference for you to come and explain, elaborate, and elucidate on some of the things that some of the ideas that you might want to share. At the end of the day, the Uganda, like I keep saying this, Uganda yapefena naye munatugamba okusaba invitation okujja okulaba abaganda baffe ne bajina oba okujja okucheckinga on our estates. We shall still remind you that Uganda yapefena. We may not readily come to Uganda right away. Newe tunajira wonna yensi yaffe fena mugizo wa mugane yensi yaffe fena. We shall be there. Brian naye alina opinion. Brian Terry kati banavoga bagamba oyo Ssali w'NRM abantu bonna baleze. Nze ngamba sekerera by the way byenkola ebyange mbikola mbimanyi era nkimanyi ensaawa yonna oyo omusajja tujja mujjako waayagala batayagala tujja mwakanya ppaka wanatali kukola ebintu ebituufu wanaavaako. Brian yagamba nti I have always told NUP friends that they can't uproot Museveni without a strategy. They won't listen. They have no plan. That's the truth. You see byange ekitegeera yo Brian Terry ekitegeera abantu oba yetulyatunga oba yaani simanyi naye nga yabagambye kiikyo banaye omusajja ono mukole strategy. It is true. We need to have a strategy. We need to have a strategy. Last year in August, I told, actually not in August, before August, I told people in NUP, nebabuuza kati mubeera mutya ne strategic team. The strategic team yonna yagala kufuuka MP. The entire strategic team wanted also they were also contesting for MPship. Now, mubeera mutya nga mumulowooleza pate ate nga mwene mwagala kwesimbawo kuba MP. You need to have a technical team nga tiri mu byabufuzi nga ye libo kulowooza kubalowoleza kukola strategies nakola ki kumanya candidate kiko tugenda okuteeka mu constituency eno anaawangula opposition nebeera ng'eri well spread within parliament. Ekitegeera mwasimba ba candidates abali weak nembasimba ku FDC. Ekitegeera ne muluzinga ne FDC ne luzinga NRM ne winning kubanga muwa dividing obululu. Mwagala kujjako Museveni mubeere strategic. Tuteeka candidate w'amaanyi mu kifo nga ne Ssali naye w'amaanyi owa NRM ali wiika ajja kujja abakube. Yensonga lwaki tulina aba NRM MPs bangi nnyo okusinga aba opposition. Because we failed to come together as a people power. Okumanya nti nno wano FDC waba yasingawo amaanyi katumuleke ababeerawo awo. Owa DP wano waba yasingawo amaanyi katumuleke ababeerawo awo. Kiraba opposition yonna ebeere ng'ekuba kikumi ku kikumi. Nkitegeera nze kasita byajjamu ebyo nti genda olonda umbrella nengamba kati bikyusa tebikyali bya people power bino. Tuzze mu party, tuzze mu kukola ssente. Bwe tudda mu party tuba mu bya kukola ssente. Mwagala kujjako Museveni wa mwagala kukola ssente. Kiki mwagala okukola? You have to come to become united. Kitegeera. Disagreement wakati wa Mwami Kyagulanyi ne Dr. Stella Nyanzi did not come out of the blue. Stella was people power. I remember her. I remember she used to come to Kamwacha when we were still people power. Kitegeera. But somehow, someone came up with the idea of NUP without any of us knowing, even though we used to think that we were part of the strategy, the strategic team. We didn't know. We were all like caught off guard. Many people within the NUP leadership will say this. They didn't know what was going on. They were upset with how things evolved, but they found ways to defend that action, even though most of them did not believe in it. And I think it's okay to defend something that you really like. No, you know what, Kyagulanyi, you believing in. People say that, you know what, if you believe in Kyagulanyi, buli kyaleeta kyonna kikkiririzemu. Kino kibeera nga kikyamu, kigenda tuyamba tutyanga eggwanga. Ekiraba. Kati the guy is overwhelmed. Kyova olaba nga tugamba kakati bannange. Actually, abawulidde Joe yabagambye eki? Temuwulidde bye yabagambye Joe. Amala okuparaphrasing wano. Waliwo ke nawandiise wano. Ngenda kaparaphrasing n'abantu baffe. Tuwulire kye bagamba. Kaliwa. Actually, waliwo kapo wange yakawandiise better kireka nsoma akakapo wange yawandiise. Omukulembeze w'ekibiina kya NUP linda ku katono omanyi sagala kuwaayiriza kati bwe mba nnoonya ekintu bajagala nenkola paraphrase ntuufu abasabye egyo mwabitegedde oba temwabitegedde? Mwabitegedde oba temwabitegedde? Linda katono ngenda kabasimba nze sirina buzibu. Just a moment. I'll be back shortly.
This is the state of the nation. Irifa Uganda. We are deliberate, we are reasonable, we are uncensored. The state of the nation with Henry Ssali.
Kale, mwebale nnyo okuba nti mukomyewo okutugoberera. Actually, I'm not good paraphrasing. Ngenda kusoma akamukwano kwange ke yawandiise. Yagambye eti no akulira ekibiina kya National Unity Platform oba NUP omwami Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu asabye bannayuganda okussa ebirowoozo byabwe eri Mukama Katonda kubanga yekka y'atalemererwa. Mulabye gye tulaga kati. Gye tulaga tumulabayo. Katonda ayamba yeeyambye. Mukimanyi ekyo? Oba temukimanyi? Gwe bw'ogaana okusoma ebitabo n'ogamba ojja kugenda okola exams nga tosoma ebitabo ogenda biggwa. Kosabe Katonda otya. Ekitegeera? Bossi waffe baba atugambye ebirowoozo byaffe tubitwase Katonda. Kubanga ye yekka yatalemererwa. Okimanyi nti nno omwami Museveni bwe yamala okubba akalulu k'e Kayunga yajja n'ayimba ennyimba z'eddiini. Okijjukira? G'osaba ki yali ayimba ennyimba z'eddiini? Ayimba ennyimba z'eddiini kubanga we are so naive. We have been brainwashed. Christianity yajja n'etukola ki? N'etuteeka mu kifo kye tulina okubeeramu. Bw'obuuzeebuuza eby'amaanyi bagamba omwana gwe tolinaamu Katonda yenna. Ekitegeera, tolinaamu mpisa ya ddiini yonna, tolinaamu ddiini yonna. Ekitegeera, kati era gye babagambye ogenda. ebirowoozo bikwase Katonda kubanga ye Katonda yatalemererwa. Bino bintu gye biri mugende munoonyereze, mubuulirize speeches zajjo zonna. Omanyize mwenna buli muntu mubalamu amagezi bw'oli wano ng'ondaba mmanyi olina amagezi ensonga lwaki oli wano. Genda owulirize bye babagambye ejjo. Ebirowoozo bikwase Katonda ye yatalemererwa. This is a revolution. Eno revolution bannange batandika obbazaayo ewa Katonda mumanye baagala balemesa revolution. Katonda ayamba yeeyambye. Ntumbi okusaaga mu baggayi. Katonda ayamba yeeyambye. Bosi waffe bwana tugamba tugende ewa Katonda nga tatuwadde kikyakola oba kikyakutwala wa Katonda. Mutunule revolution zonna ezibaddewo. Tahrir Square mugijjukira. Aba Egyptians bwe bagenda ku square eyo, basiraamu abasinga, abantu abasinga mu Egypt basiraamu. Majority of the citizens in Egypt they are Muslim. Abasiraamu balina okusala emirundi 5 buli lunaku. Bamala weeks mmeka ku Tahrir Square bali basala. Struggle wona agisaba eyo nti kakati omanyi tusoke Katonda ajja tuyamba nga tweyambye. Bwe tutwala ebirowoozo byaffe ewa Katonda nga ffe tetweyambye, Katonda tajja tuyamba. Kyova laba waliwo n'abantu abagamba tusooke tuconcentrating ku international agencies. Tubagabe balekera okuweereza gundi. Aid. International agencies have interests in Uganda. Tebagenda kudda ku ffe. Bo kasita babeerayo stability bajja kwongera okuweereza aid kubanga balina interests zaabwe ze baagala zigende mu maaso. They don't care who is governing. They don't care. They don't care who is governing. Ng'omuntu afunye obudde n'ojja n'owuliriza kano. Bw'oba tolina budde osoma report za IMF. Tojja na kumanya nti baweereza ssente. Brian mpereza gundi. Mpereza namba yo. WhatsApp yange eri +1 416. Wandike namba yange. +1 416 518 2714. Ngenda kuleta Brian. Waye tuyatunga waye tiyali naye nga ayagala kuyingira mu studio. I'm going to give you a link. So, Brian, send me a WhatsApp message on 1 +1 416 518 2714. Oyingire mu studio kubanga kirabika Christina akyalemeddwa okuyingira mu studio. Kitegeera bosi yabagambye yatugambye Bannayuganda ebirowoozo byammwe ebirowoozo mu biseeri Mukama Katonda kubanga ye atalemererwa. This is the ghetto president. You have to be the ghetto president. Kaguta omujjako beera nga ghetto president. Omusajja yayagala okujjako ekitiibwa kye ekya ghetto president n'okirwanyisa n'okisigaza. Kati akulemesa ate ekiri ekitiibwa ekirala. Otandise okupowa gayi. Otandise otuzze wa Katonda mbwebirozo tutwale wa Katonda. Katonda yatuwa will. God gave us the will to do what we believe is right. We are made in the image of God, which means we have the power to create. Bw'ozaala omwana n'omuweerera n'omuteekamu amagezi n'omugamba agenda okola kino, otuuka ekiseera n'omugamba agenda okole ky'olina okukola. Genda weetakulire. Kubanga oyo omwana gwobeera omuzadde nga alina DNA wo. Kitegedde? You cannot spoon feed your child every time. You gotta give them the benefit of the doubt. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Let them act. Eh? Fazilu Mayanja, peze simu yo kuweze link to joining. Fazilu ungaja gado kogera na okubali banga. Kati ate goli we NUP kijja kunsanyusa nyongo zze kuno kubanga you have good content to share. You have good content to share. I think it's important for us to have these honest conversations. Fazil, you have my number. Send me a message and I'll send you a link. Send you a link. My cousin has your number. Type down message. Let me ask my cousin Lillian. The number. Then I can send you a link. Brian, you haven't received your message yet. Please send me your message. Okay. In the meantime, I'm going to bring on Fazil. Fazil has sent me a message. So thank you so much for joining this conversation. I know you have good content to share. Yeah. So Fazil will be joining us shortly. Yeah, Fazil will be joining us shortly. I've just sent him a link to join us. You know how to use this because I know you have a similar program platform, so it should be easy for you to just come in. Brian, there's a message in a link, and then we can have a conversation regarding this. Right, so Fazil is here. Fazil.
Yes.
Uganda wangi for so many. You have to invite Fazil. Busy. You share very good content. You share very good
thank
content.
You very much.
And I appreciate the conversation that I appreciate the brick that you have put to the struggle. You add in the struggle. I think it's very important. Of course, today was supposed to be Christine's Day, but she has failed to connect completely. I know you have been speaking for the National Unity Platform, and I appreciate that you are coming to have this honest conversation. We need to engage in these honest conversations together.
Okay.
So, I'm sure you've been following what is going on. The point is, where are we going in the struggle? It seems to be stagnating. Is it stagnated? Is the struggle where it should be? Or have we lost track? If we have lost track, what do we need to do? First of all, introduce yourself.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Henry Ssali, and thank you for this wonderful program that you run every Sunday. I've been following the program to close to 2 years now. So it's really a pleasure to be here. My name is Amanda Fazil. I'm a political activist, I would say. And I run a YouTube channel that talks about Ugandan politics. It's called Mayanja Fazil. And another channel that is called In Africa, where we talk about the events that are happening on the continent and trying to explain them in one way or the other. So briefly, that's how I would explain myself. Now, I will mix English and Luganda. I don't know what you prefer.
You can mix in a program here in Uganda. So
okay, sure, no worries. So ekibuzo kyobuuza is that has the struggle stagnated, or where are we going in one way or the other? I think it's a very interesting question because we need to ask two things. Number one, what have we achieved so far? Number two, what is our end goal? Because you know, like the way Mr. Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu told us, you know, the struggle to okununula Uganda. It is not a sprint. Right. It's not a sprint. It is a marathon. We should understand. Right. We're gonna cover all the highs. We're gonna cover all the lows. You're gonna suffer setbacks, but also at different fronts, you're going to win. It's gonna cover win throughout. It's not how it happens, surely. Right. And I would give an example, Mr. Ssali. Recently, I think you have been following the events in Ethiopia. In Tigray between the TPLF and the federal government, or Abiy Ahmed, you will see that the Tigrayans were actually having a good run, and people would have thought that they were even going to capture the capital in the last 2 weeks. The Americans evacuated, as well as other diplomats. They even evacuated the Bagamba Banaye, ran out of Addis Ababa. But then all of a sudden things turned within 2 weeks, and what we are seeing today, they sued for peace. They were reaching out to the UN, and they're like, guys, I think this is going nowhere. We have given in. And to Kiriza. What am I trying? Yeah, why am I bringing up that point?
Yeah, it's very interesting that you brought in that Tigray and Ethiopian conversation. First of all, Tigray over them power has been in years as Mr. Museveni has been in power.
Yeah,
they are disgruntled right now. Bajja kusobera omukozesa bye baagala. In the long run, but failings omukozesa bye baagala, that they are disgruntled, bakomyewo nti baagala muwamba. Never they know he has the structures of the country. Together. Military ammunition zonna yazina, the structures zonna yazina, aziterezeza akyusiza abantu bonna bonna baba balina okubeera. Together. But even though international agencies ne US okuvayo, it's not because yali envayo kubanga yali ekimanyi nti Batigray bali balwada bulungi nti bagenda kuwangula. Ekyali kibajjayo kugezaako kukyusa perceptions za media ne mu bantu kulaga nti no government ya weakness kubanga bo balabanga Batigray basavinga interests zaabwe okusinga ono guy first of all yagala n'akola gundi peace gundi agreement the Eritrea. Which these guys do not like. So this conversation is very important. But the facets that make up the struggle in Ethiopia right now, those comparing and navigating the mass, East Africa and Uganda specifically. Whatever Mwami Muhoozi critique yawayo against Abia. Ngagezako muoninga mutisa nti Uganda can take on anything. Again, ensonga lwaki Batigray babadde bagezaako okulwana nga beefula ab'amaanyi era ne kakati n'okulaba nti they are failing. It's because bali bagayi beorganizinga. Abia came in as supposedly a puppet for these guys. Bali bagala kukyusa face basigale mu background nga balwaninga ekintu.
True.
He refused. At first, yasoka nakola bye baagala paka yamala consolidating power. Because they are confused. They want to overthrow him. So that's very important. And there are so many similar events that are happening within the context of Uganda. Singa tuba tusobola okwetegereza struggle egenda mu maaso mu Ethiopia. We can use this struggle to correct the wrongs that have gone up in Uganda. America byokola nti keveeyo bikikagira abantu bayo egezeho okukyusa perceptions z'abantu kutubuzaabuza ffe bafirika kulowooza nti government ya Ethiopia eri weak. It's not weak. The guy is gonna win the war. They have been suggesting separation. Secession, actually. They have been suggesting secession. But they agreed about the power has been taken away from them, and now they are fearful that they are going to lose all their wealth over the 4 decades they have them power. It's together. So these things, it's good that you talk about these things and you do very thorough research about certain things that you share, which is helpful. It's a helpful conversation to have. But I want you to approach Uganda's struggle in the same manner. The researcher, thorough researcher, akola research n'otegeera nti ekintu kino kiba ekidiwa ekiti ddala ekintu kino tunakikola kinavaayo bwe kiti. Njagala to approaching a struggle in the way we are going to be able to succeed in this struggle. Okubeera nga tubeera honest ne ba leaders waffe. Christine, ensonga lwaki mbadde ndese Christine conversation
I was actually anxiously waiting for her, so
it's because yavaayo nagamba naye tuwagidde ekintu kino taddemu ssente tubapushinze twakulinda. In one of the submissions she made that made people send me messages nga bamuyita bagamba mulete, yagamba sebo ne want tugambye okweyambulamu engoye tugende oba tukole ki twandizeeyambuddemu. That's how much trust Ugandans have had in Bobby. Principal nga ne principal manyi byalimu alimu peaceful transition. Museveni yete peaceful transition in 1980. We have to be tough. I think we have to be tough. If you're
Kakati,
things
I do.
Going to work. Meanwhile, one of mommy and agaba mu blocking.
True. Now I do understand.
Mommy and the chivige we agaba mu blocking.
Oh, okay. So let us go.
Conversation here.
And two important points. Number one, as I'm winding up with the example of Tigray, the Tigrayans used violence in order to achieve their political political ambitions, or politically. Backwards of violence, meaning Ethiopia has been under war for over 2 years now. What have they achieved in the end? In the end, what they have achieved is that they have handed in a letter to the United Nations asking for a ceasefire and ready to settle for whatever is available. There is a time the Tigrayans were actually ahead, Bali in a very powerful position where they had the leverage, meaning that they would call the shots, meaning that they would sit on the table, never calling the shots, and leverage it in their power. But now they have given in after fighting a very brutal war. So many people have died and all this kind of stuff. And in the end, it showed that violence did not actually help them to get what they want. Number one. Number two, in Uganda, there have been so many rebel movements, so many movements that have held guns. Why is it today that all these movements have not been succeeded? This succeeding because I understand. Of course, Joseph Kony, why didn't he succeed? I understand Alice Lakwena, why didn't he succeed? I understand Moses Ali, why didn't he, and his group, why didn't they succeed? I understand the ADF, why haven't they succeeded? Right. Now, when you're talking about raising up, because some people, okay, there's a school of thought, we should go to the bush as Museveni, like 1986, and create a resistance. Geographically, if I told you to study the photographer, Uganda calls a guerrilla warfare, right? Now, I do not really see how someone can sustain a guerrilla warfare movement, within the Great Lakes region. It's going to be hard, because even if you wanted to start it within the eastern part of Congo, because that's where every guerrilla movement within the Great Lakes actually starts from. The people that are giving headache to the government in Kigali, Bava Chivu, Eastern Congo, Abawa headache Burundi, Bava Chivu. It is a hot pot. Ngagundi, Mamdani, Wajita, even the people who are giving Museveni a bit of headache, that is the Naru as well as the ADF, they all came from this particular area. Now, you don't know what is actually happening in Eastern DRC because there are so many people that are happening there. And trust me, if you try to stage a river, whatever, a guerrilla warfare from there, you could be even kicked out before you even start. Talk about South Sudan and talk about places like whatever. I mean, me geographical, I'm not a war expert, but unless if you're going to start a war within the country itself, then of which it's going to be very costly and very disastrous. I mean,
the question is whether it is supposed to be a hot war.
But
I don't think it's supposed to be a hot war.
Because you raised the issue or raises the issue in 1986, because what Museveni did was a guerrilla war, right? Now there's another school of thought, a government we need to raise up. We need to get people to go to the streets.
Right.
But then we have to also examine that to unpack it. How do you get people to the streets? Is it spontaneous? Is it organized? Do you have to put each and every strategy out there in the broad daylight? And also, I would like to tell people, whenever we are discussing these things, do not ever underestimate your enemy. That's what Art of War was. Also knowing your enemy. Because whenever you speak, thinking that your enemy is not planning, I think to be mistaken. What we have to do is to inakubela ahead of his plan. Because like it or not, Mr. Ssali, trust me, I do not think that His Excellency Mr. Kyagulanyi abadde ali awo nga talina kya planning. He has been planning. He has been having his own plans. His plans have been fettered. Like they have been baziguddemu ne bazikuba.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is saying that he's not planning. People question.
Yes.
Tugenda kulinda D.
And now the thing.
Banatuba pakadi. Batuba ka 14th January.
Yes.
Batubia akeka Kayunga ateko bakabye openly. Kubanga guy yamukubye by over 15,000 votes.
Yes.
Na kwede abade over 36,000.
But look here, Bwana Ssali. Look here, Bwana Ssali. You speak about Nakwede's vote, but there are also some constituencies that we won within NRM Gundi, within the NRM stronghold. If you go to a place like Nakasongola, we actually had two people who won on NUP ticket. Ngaba district chairman, now they are chairman, LC3 chairman.
I know,
and these are strong. These are actually look here. These are actually strongholds is a NRM. What does this mean? It means that even if you look here, bro, opposition, and we all know how Nakasongola is in Tichipo Chabararo. Like literally, you can't win a vote in Nakasongola. Come on. But if you can get
you ask yourself.
And look here, Rachi or concentrating Kunakwede. Whereas I do understand it in Nakwede.
It's the one that matters because it's the one that matters.
What do you mean, bro? What do you mean that it is the one that matters? Unpack that.
It's in Nakasongola where the Baganda have been kicked off their land. Kalanga have been kicking people off their land.
Kayunga.
Yeah, Kayunga is a hot spot because it's a hot cake for the powerful within the NRM. Manye bagobeka bagobye kutake Kayunga. Bantu bameka bagobye kutake Nakasongola.
Yes, I do understand your point. I do understand.
First of all, akaluke kenda Kasongola abantu bamala batta.
So can I ask you one question? Can I ask you a question?
Was assassinated. And after he was assassinated, they sent a whole brigade, NRM brigade in Kayunga to mobilize the vote there, even when their candidate lost. The Electoral Commission deliberately stole the vote. They announcing that is not normal. That shouldn't be left unquestioned. I don't need to question Nakasongola because you won in Nakasongola and you are declared winners. You won in Kayunga and you are not declared winners.
Yes. Katubuze chibuzo chimu. We all agree that it's not that the Museveni doesn't have support anywhere in Uganda, isn't it? He still has support in some places in Uganda, right?
Yeah.
Now, Museveni is gonna win in some places, right?
Yeah.
In some places, he will use his Gundi cheating and rigging machine to win at each and every cost, depending on his interest. And then in some places, of course, it will be free and fair, and the opposition is likely to win. Now, what is my point here? My point, when I was explaining the issue of Kayunga, this is what I told people. Definitely, we all know it in our hearts until we won the election in Kayunga, number one. Number two, how did the election make the people feel? Are the people of Kayunga happy? Until after we were to go chairman wabwe, secondly, ne tujja mu kalulu, ne tucontestinga, n'akalulu kabwe ne bakabba, are they happy? Nti how did the election make them feel? Okay. For me, I view the issue of partaking in elections not to win votes, not to convert. Before, it should be used as a mobilization tool. It should be used as a sensitization tool. Whatever you want to plan, whether it's a guerrilla war, whether it's an uprising, you can use that small election window of 14 days to prepare for that. Because, bro, no way you're preparing whatever. Because within that campaign period, you are allowed to do separate meetings. You're building structures, and that's why I tell them.
How do you keep your mobilized? How do you keep your mobilized masses motivated?
And the thing is this. The thing is this. Now you're getting it wrong. The issue is not the vote. The issue is not to get as many. Ssali, I don't want us to get lost in this, but this is my argument.
We are not.
Political.
No. I'm bringing in the vote, because the vote is the prize. Omuntu ava munju ye nagamba kangende nonde nakwe. Your price ye ya kuwininga. That's the price. That's the price.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the vote that we want in Kayunga. Kubanga chetwagala kuchusa bukulembeze, kuchusa muntu ali ntebe mu ntebe, kutwagala okuchusa. Okitegera. Kakati bo mobilizing abantu emitwalo 36 ne bagenda balonda nakweddi. Nga ku presidential elections bavayo emitwalo 6 okulonda president Kyagulanyi. Bavayo emitwalo 6 kuna kwedde bavudde emitwalo 36. We have already lost about 20,000 people that we mobilized during presidential elections.
And you should understand the argument. No. Go slow. You should understand this. No. There is a thing you are misinterpreting there. We should understand. An LC5 chairman is not an LC5 chairman is not elected on the same day as the president. A president is elected on the same day as the member of parliament. Now, what that means is the LC5 chairman, as well as the district chairman and mayors, are elected a week or 2 weeks later or a month later. Now, statistically, still people are going to drop. The number of people again are dropping again partaking in that particular election.
From 60,000.
Yes, it is actually. It actually drops into half, literally. We're going to on the mayor. Literally, you can look at the stats. Most people.
It wasn't an election for the entire country. It was just for.
But still, I think. Okay.
Bavotsi ba NUP bandi badde bakkiriza okukola ki okubeera motivated ogenda okulonda kubanga president waabwe baamugana ogenda e Kayunga.
Of course they went and voted.
That would have taken them out of the houses. But
Mr. Ssali, I think for you, you're concentrating on Nakwede, the personality, but you're not looking at the entire
picture. Nakwede is just an example. Kayunga is just an example.
Yes.
I'm just using it as an example, right? To talk about the issues of Uganda. To talk about how we mobilize Ugandans, how we keep them motivated. How we keep them,
yes. Now, number one, you're asking how do we keep them motivated? Number one. Number two, in reference maybe to Kayunga. Now, for me, what I've actually told the people of the secretariat with my engagements with them is that I've told them, number one, you guys have achieved a lot, but not so many people know about your achievements. Number one, not so many people know about the achievements of the National Unity Platform and how they have struggled and what they have so far done to unsettle Museveni's dictatorship. You and I can agree at this particular moment that Museveni is at his weakest. There's that narrative in government: you appear strong when you're weak and appear weak when you're strong, so that you can get your enemies off track. Because for me, that's what I see in Museveni's regime. Let us break things down, starting with January when the election.
Yeah, but you also remember, Musajja Muganda goma mayanja. Jukira nti nno Buganda tugamba nti amaanyi g'olujegere obugomvu bw'olujegere ge maanyi gaalo. Why Museveni appears the weakest right now? Museveni has always come back when he appeared the weakest. Remember Kayunga? Do you remember Kayunga 2009?
Anti kakatira, but yeah.
He was weakest at that point. And then he came back. Look how.
And the problem is this. The problem is the political players at the time during the 2009 riots did not take that opportunity. Did not take it on. They just sat back in their chairs and folded their arms. But that was an opportunity.
Exactly. And this is the opportunity we have now. Museveni
you do not have the opportunity because the masses are not yet ready. They are not yet. For me, I believe.
The masses are ready. The masses are waiting for Mr. Kyagulanyi.
Chichicho, how would you measure that the masses are ready to go to the streets? When His Excellency Kyagulanyi called them on to come to the streets after the elections, no one turned up.
Later on, can I give you events where people would have stood up? In Natete, escort wa Mami Kyagulanyi ne bamutta. Do you know how many people were ready to stand up? What did Kyagulanyi
How
say?
many?
Everyone was literally ready to stand up against that government. Everyone, including some people in the army.
But Mr. Ssali,
preaching a peace.
And Mr. Ssali, let me ask you one simple question.
The other events that could have led to serious riots. But every time the principal has gotten an opportunity, he has preached peace over protests, serious protests. When you call people after they have given up, losing the hope, you think they're going to come to the streets?
And the thing is this, Ssali, you're looking at this from one side, okay? You're not looking at it from the other side. Now, for me, if I'm strategizing, I don't look at things from my own perspective. I'll try to wear Museveni's glasses and see what he's thinking. And trust me, if at all you wear glasses, because there is a situation where you would like to go into something when the odds are literally stacked against you. What you're gonna do is you're just going to get people killed. You're just going to get people arrested and brutally beaten as many as possible. Now, I would ask you a simple question. I believe you have relatives in Uganda, and some of them might even be supporting the struggle. But do you really have enough relatives or do you really have any relatives that if you went out there and told them, guys, please raise up at this particular occasion, would they go to the streets? Now, that is just you. But you, me, I, and so many other people who are living in the diaspora that are looking at these things in such a situation, when you tell your relatives back home that please go to the streets and protest, none of them will actually come to the streets. So that's the dilemma we are living in. Now, what does that call for? It means that people, number one, are still afraid. People are still, what that means is you are supposed to go back in the people, resensitize them, talk to them once again, and by the time you call them on the streets and they appear, they will be ready. Number two, the other issues, like most of, especially the toughest critics of Mr. Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and the National Unity Platform, most of the people, they want results within what? The gentleman has not even been here for 5 years. Let us be fair. Like literally, Mr. Ssali, you cannot tell someone that he has failed in 3 years to get people to the streets. I mean, by doing that, I think we are backing some sort of a god that we think in a magic sticker, so and then people appear. And and by saying it, it has to be riots. It has to be raising up. If that is not his strategy, then I think it's not going to happen. But if that is his strategy, then maybe it will happen, and he has a way of reaching there. But then if we fabali no muchituita muchirasha wetugamba nti nenda achihandolinze bubi si watu baino chihandolinga what, right? He can listen and try it and see, because the worst thing, Mr. Ssali, let me tell you, whenever you're leading a revolution, I know you have led strikes maybe in a school and stuff like that. Think of a day when you call people to come and strike against the administration and no one turns up, and it is just you and maybe your friend and maybe someone with a placard. What will happen the next time if you call them? They will not turn up. Simple as that. So you have to be calculative, because you might call a strike and people do not turn up. You can't know strikes is the in the West as corporations. Why do you think Amazon would invest a lot of money in order to kill unions, in order people not to turn up and pay more money to union workers, who want to unionize, to make sure that they don't unionize, so that these people can look weak into the street. People go, you don't even have the support. Why should we care? Now, this is my part. Has NUP achieved anything? Achievements, are they helping us to weaken the regime? Mind you, we are facing, or we are fighting, a 36-year dictatorship. Now, for the smallest time I've been in this fight, I've tried to learn Museveni. I've tried to study him, his networks, how he operates, and all this kind of stuff. If you look closely, Museveni has so many networks in the West that are actually supporting him, where he is fronting the agenda, especially here in the UK. You cannot say anything about Museveni. Bro, you can't say anything. You cannot. We have tried everything.
In the UK, even in the US.
Look, bro, we have tried everything. We have gone to Downing Street. He is our man. Now, there is another element that you people do not understand. There is another element that people do not see.
UK. First of all, UK. UK the bantu abasinga okuwuliriza abantu. Politicians be UK bawuliriza abantu. Naye bawuliriza batya nga bagenze ku streets. Uganda wabanga tewaliwo disruption. Nga interests z'Abangereza zikyagenda mu maaso bulungi. Nga tewali as disrupting during Museveni's reign. Why do you think they would support someone else?
No.
What would be the motivation for them to support?
But the idea is, n'abalala bonna ababaddewo tebabasupporting. Why? Even the rest, actually, the only person who has managed to shake things here in Downing Street, it is Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. With the biggest support, by the way, financially and anything, ever in UK. We have never seen that before. And that's a very big achievement. Getting the Ugandan masses within the diaspora on board, it has never happened. The masses are the biggest.
You don't understand. The masses in the diaspora are nothing. You guys, when you go to Downing Street, UK, Ottawa, striking. People in the US, in Washington, in New York, United Nations, they were striking. You are nothing. You are not Ugandans. The people who are going to matter are the Ugandans on the ground.
Yes, I do. Actually, I do agree. I do agree with your argument there. Yeah. But the problem is, I do not agree with the issue of you saying that we do not matter, because the struggle needs financial backing. The struggle needs financial backing as well as it needs lobbying.
How much money do you think you are going to give to the
And the thing is this, Mr. Ssali, and the thing is this, it also needs lobbying. It also needs financial backing, especially to the people back home. Of course, the party will not come here to tell you, people in the diaspora have done this and this and that, but they will tell you that the diaspora has supported the party as much as we can. Now, the other issue is this, because for us, we can see
the sponsors of the
yeah, that is really good. That is really good. Why do you think? I do understand it. Uganda. Do you really think Uganda does not seek support from the Baganda from the diaspora? Like the tag support from Baganda from the diaspora? Definitely it needs it. The other issue jenjagala okugamba eriweti mbadde nkyagamba point yange nti Museveni's network in the US, Museveni's network in the United Kingdom and all these other places. What is the role of this network? Of course, it is to lobby for Museveni. Number one, to get money. Number one, to sanitize his atrocities. Number three is to also make sure that he gets, as so that he can.
But Museveni is using Ugandan taxpayers' money. Sometimes they syndicate Uganda for aid.
Because that's how he has managed to do it. But now we are looking at NUP as a party. Have we managed to break through that? Because what you guys are demanding for Mr. Kyagulanyi to do, to get people to raise up within 3 years, he has to also work to tackle with this network in the diaspora, to tackle the lobbyists. I never even knew that Museveni is paying a lot of money for media, for these lobby groups, the so-called lobby groups, Bakagames, and all this kind of stuff. Because the thing is here, Mr. Ssali, if people are not educated enough on how Museveni works, we are going to be, it is going to be hard for us. If we are not educated enough where he gets his financial backing, it's going to be hard for us to break it.
Right, but instead of just concentrating on that, there are other revolutions that the soul copper. Katinga Sudan revolution. Nchitegera. Oyo omuwale yakulembera revolution eyo. Kutuka wo yatuka no kulaba ntino ya persuading amajoko okudda behind the people.
I think you are wrong. I think you are actually wrong, Mr. Ssali, for that matter. I actually let me tell you one thing. I followed the Sudanese revolution. The Sudanese revolution actually started with the leaders of the Sudanese Professional Association, and most of them actually most of them are actually living here in the United Kingdom. When these people gathered other professionals back home and went to the streets, protested, they took Bashir out. But then their revolution was, of course, hijacked. What are they into right now? What has Hamduk done to them? Hamduk literally Katiyabatunze, right? Because they went to the streets to oust Mubarak. Yeah, I do understand. No. For you are looking at the girl because that is what social media. But there was people behind all this. The Sudanese Professional Association. These were the guys behind the entire revolution. And that lady was not the leader of the Sudanese Professional Association. Yes?
What we need in Uganda is that Kyagulanyi, who already has people's trust, to be
and the thing is this.
Revolutionary girl who is in Sudan.
And the thing is this. The thing is this. You are demanding.
Kasitaba abazungu balabanga Ugandan government literally ekuba abantu ojukira mami Kyagulanyi bali bamusibye. That was another opportunity nebadenja okugamba during elections batta abantu 10 I think abantu balinga 10 n'omu batta abantu abo
November 18th and 19th.
Yeah, that was another opportunity.
But the auntie, look here. The problem is this.
Abazungu balabanga abantu suffering on the ground. They will start listening to the people who are suffering.
Yes. But and now that is where I'm coming to. That is where I'm coming to. That the West is now listening. And you're gonna ask me how. Are they listening? Yes, they are listening. And I can show you how. Number one. Because that is it. Do not just wear Mr. Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's glasses. For me, that's not how I look at politics in Uganda. That's not how I look at revolutions. I want to step into the feet of my enemy. What is he thinking? And actually, November 18th and 19th, so many innocent people were killed. Because it means that is how far Museveni is likely to go. Until he will get people murdered. He will get people killed. He will get people bombed at each and every cost to keep his power. So what do you do in such circumstances? Do you keep charging so that you get as many people as possible as killed? Or do you retreat a wee bit and re-strategize and then move forward once again? Because all of a sudden, what Chotayagara is a bloodbath, whereby you might lead people into a bloodbath and they will not come back totally again when you call them back. That is very, very dangerous tactically. Because these things have to be tactical, Mr. Ssali. You cannot just go into a situation where odds are stacked against you. Now, going back, for me, what I look at things that most people do not actually acknowledge, especially the achievements that the gentleman has achieved for 3 years, whereas people would like to downplay them. Number one,
no one is trying to first of all,
no, because
presentation of facts. No one is trying to downplay. No one is trying to downplay what NUP has achieved. But the expectations that Mr. Kyagulanyi gave us,
I think people should lower their expectations.
No,
that is what I can tell you.
But he refused us to lower the expectations. Yatugamba bikwase Kyagulanyi.
Auntie, what is that? No, Mr. Ssali.
That was not lowering expectations.
Mr. Ssali.
It did not measure. It did not manage our expectations.
Mr. Ssali.
He had the leadership had to manage our expectations. When we start seeing the reorganizing of the shifting of goalposts, that's what people are questioning.
Mr. Ssali.
Not questioning the guy. The problem is not Mr. Kyagulanyi.
Mr. Ssali, let me ask you one thing. Are you happy with how things are going so far within the movement? No, within the movement to fight against Museveni's leadership. Maybe within the NUP, are you happy with how things are being run so far?
I'm not satisfied. I wouldn't use the word happy.
Where are you not satisfied? Where are you not satisfied really? What would be the issues that you're not satisfied with?
Participation, our approaches that we have over the NUP has over 60, about 60 MPs in parliament. When we try to call the comments some of the political analysts in Uganda because they didn't want them to raise dust about a certain bill that is very important.
What bill? Like what bill?
Bill ya gas and oils.
Yeah, pipeline.
Yeah, pipeline.
Okay. Number one.
If Mr. Museveni wanted to have Kayunga, he would have it. Because you see, your assumption is that we're a democracy. We are not. Actually, I'm against that pretense of letting them have it. Why you say, they lost Uganda. Museveni losing Uganda. If he didn't want to lose it, he wouldn't lose it. I know what we go through in Western Uganda. More especially grounds where is deeply interested. It's terrible. So if they decide to do it their way, they will do it. But because you are one of them, this Kyagulanyi gang, they are one with Museveni, he craves for their legitimacy and will therefore give them some ground and they share. You see, you had introduced a very, very important topic here. But we didn't discuss it deeply. The amendment of the
public finance management, which is now an act.
Yes, they are passed.
Yes,
and it related to the oil and gas law.
Yes,
because they amended the two. Now I have it on good authority. The whole of the Kyagulanyi gang was bribed, given the money, not to make it controversial, to make the debate controversial.
I beg your pardon?
Yes.
Are you saying the National Unity Platform was bribed?
Absolutely.
Not to cause any controversy
Yes.
with the passing of this bill?
Yes.
Which is now
That's why it has passed calmly. It's not big.
Now, when you hear that thing, I haven't had any leader come out, any leader from the NUP come out to dismiss those allegations. I don't know how true they are. Like when these things come out to the public and none of the leaders come out to dismiss such allegations, NUP gundi nabajiwa sente obutayogera ku bill, such an important bill. If you're talking about a movement that is going to unsettle or to get Museveni out of power, try to gambia nti tugende mu parliament tubalemesa okukola bills ezo ez'ekisimu. Bwe tubanga ne mu parliament tulemedde okukola bills okulemesa bills ezo ez'oppressing abantu. How satisfied should I be with how the movement is operating?
Now, number one, of course, I've had so many scenarios where Ramushana says that tukolera Museveni, number one, era ajja kugamba Bobi Wine akolera Museveni. I don't know if you believe that. Era akugamba nti look here. No, look here. No, let us look at the entire gentleman. Nti lwaki tukkiriza okuwuliriza Kyagulanyi whatever Ramushana. Now we have people who speak for our own party. We have people like Joel Senyonyi atwogerera, people like Waisa Mufumbira atwogerera. What have they achieved? Indeed, they uncovered the road at the Entebbe airport. Now, would I take Ramushana's malicious comments over Mr. Senyonyi's uncovering of the road at the Entebbe airport? Of course not. Look, no. Let us go slow because I've been following this. No, please, let me make my point. Let me make my point, please. The other issue, I've followed Mr. Muwanga Kivumbi very, very much. I always follow him. Yes, I always go. I listen. Kubanga atula kachiko ka finance. 2 weeks ago, he was explaining the oil pipeline and what is actually happening with the pipeline, the deals, and how the shares of the pipeline and how they are going to share, how Total is going to own the pipeline, of which into Fetugena hiring the exportation of the crude nga pipeline eyita mu ttaka lyaffe naye nga tetugi owninga nga totally owninga, or whatever the French, whoever is investing the money into the pipeline. And it was a very interesting thing that really should get all Ugandans on their feet, whether you are NRM or any other party. Now, why would I take President or Gondi okuwuliriza oyo guy oyo Romushana byagenda okwogera rather than okuwuliriza Muwanga Kivumbi ebintu ebirimu amagezi babyayogera about the oil and all this kind of stuff?
That's the challenge.
Because
No.
I would ask you, Mr. Ssali, I would ask you in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Let me wind up with this point. Mpayo kasanjogere. I can't really do my point so clearly. And it's really
I have to question what you are delivering. Yeah, I have to question what you are delivering.
So I'm just chipping here and there. But here is the thing. I would ask you, Gwengali change seeking and change loving person, would you really seek advice from a person, or would you really be seeking advice from a person like Romushana or people like Tamale Mirundi, or people? Okay, I would listen to Mwenda and maybe fight back on his narratives because I know where on whom Mwenda is targeting. But for Romushana, I know he's just malicious because totally objective in his analysis is not objective with the way he's dealing with issues. Look here, guys. Wobango change loving person. When is the last? By the way, I even listened to Dr. Kanoki's podcasts and interviews over anything. For example, last week he was on TV, Kurokuna, and I sat listened to the entire episode with Kamara. That's who I am. I can listen, but sigena could that one attend and Keku is a Romushana over nga maybe Matthias Mpuga, the leader of opposition, is going to speak. I cannot listen to Romushana when Mr. Muwanga Kivumbi, who sits on the Mr. Muwanga Kivumbi at lack of Financial Accounts Committee, I cannot listen to Romushana when Segona, who is on the chairman Public Accounts Committee, is going to speak. I can't listen to that guy because only what I need to know. Okay, is there progress in what you're doing? Parliament. Now the parliament will look as if it's not working because we are getting information from people like Romushana, and yet the people who are working, we are not taking time to listen to them. So that would be my feedback on that particular issue.
Who we choose to listen to is our choice. That does not mean that other people we don't want to listen to are not making serious either allegations that need to be interrogated or offering information that needs to be critically looked at. Did the act find resistance in Parliament? Yes or no? If it did not receive resistance in Parliament, is there a grain of salt in Mr. Romushana's allegations?
Now,
we are having an honest conversation. Let us engage in an honest conversation.
Now, the thing is this. In law, they say, he who alleges must prove. So if you allege that Ssali did descent, you must prove it. Look here, Ssali. We have been doing this work for a long time, me and you know that. And Omani abantu we were to this ascent. Into go Koiram 7, go Walide. I mean, everyone. Like so many people have come and say, oh, our Fazil Balia, Bakoiram 7, Gundi, or Ssali, Yavama NUP, Rakwa, Akoida Vesia, Koiram 7. But people do not even have these facts. Unless if you have a picture or you have confidence, a confirmatory, that so Jibu Sabusa, Geragira Darantino Muntono Yadi descent. I mean, the Sanyaga de Nyo. Literally, because I really hold this program with high respect. Very respectful people like Dr. Stella Nyanzi, the two doctors they always bring every Saturday. Twins of the narrative, mere says and mere allegations of NUP by their center coming from a person like Romushana. The only thing maybe of blaming no. The only thing it is no. Do you have proof? Zenaga proof. If you have proof, I'm ready to change my mind.
No, here's the thing. If it's wrong,
if you have proof, I can change my mind.
it doesn't have to be slander. When
that people were bribed, bribing
on national television. If it was slander, it would be sued by the National Unity Platform because that is slander. Babanga Yalimba about slander. NUP should sue him and make him pay. The fact that none of the leaders of NUP has come out to even threaten
that's
a
not
lawsuit against him, to even threaten a lawsuit against him, that is what we are interrogating. That is what we are. It's not really the person. This is not about Romushan. The person.
But what does Romushana have? Literally, what does Romushana in it? You're going to sue him or
we are interrogating. When he's sued, then we understand how we can interrogate this issue.
But Mr. Ssali, I know you are following Mr. Bobi Wine very closely. You remember the time they said that he was gay? You know, you remember the time they said he was gay? You remember all those allegations? You have had Mr. Tamari.
It's not just Mr. Kyagulanyi. Even Mwami Besigye bamugamba nti raping omukyala.
Yeah.
No, but you know,
and this is the point. But why do you think that gay allegations died down? Why do you think it all of a sudden no one can come out to say that he's gay anymore?
Well, the gay allegations, first of all, everyone knew that was directly coming from Mr. Museveni's camp, and it was aimed at political slander, right? Mwami Kyagulanyi avayo nabyegana nalaga omukyala we nalaga abantu be nagamba this is my life, this is my lifestyle. So these guys need to come out ngaba leaders nebagamba Romusha nabyogera, they are nonsensical.
Actually, he never came out at any one time to show his wife and all this kind of stuff. He never did it, by the way.
He may not.
Bobby did. It is because. He did,
right?
No. It is because Fetuchimanyi Bulungi. And look here, Mr. This is a gentleman.
Baby came out.
This is a gentleman. This is a gentleman who is a former spy within Museveni's government. He used to work for ISO. Okay? Now, he says he's a former spy. We don't even know if really this guy has left his spy activities. Because me as a person, I would be very interested. Why is it that Romushana Yabera could BBS? Why is it that Romushana Yabera could Radio Simba with Saturday? Why is it that Romushana Yabera could...
political analyst.
Nope. Slow. Slowly. Let us Kankole point yange, bro.
I know, but like
Nanti, this is my point.
We're having an honest conversation. Which
Auntie, yes, Kankole point yange, then you can, because Gogami, because he's a political analyst. Rachi, yabera ku BBS, yabera ku Simba, yabera ku Spirit. Buli program yo Uganda ajibera ko yabera ku barometer kasa meme.
Invited.
Look, no. Gonda mpola, tugenda mpola. Zino zonna program zina one characteristic. Zona za Uganda. Number 1. Number 2. Lwaki tebamuteka ku program kubanga Oluganda lumusumbuwamu. Ebiseera ebisinga balina omumutereezaamu. Lwaki tebamukwata ne bamuteka ku program ez'Oluzungu. Kaakati ekyokubiri tulina okwebuuza. Programu zino bamuteekako ku mpaka oba ba presenters be bamuereetera ne babaga producers be baga nti no Romushana alina okubeerako. Because that will explain where he gets the power to be on all these programs. Number 4. Ebigambo bye birungi ennyo byatugamba. Nze ngamba nti no byandibadde birungi nnyo mu lulimi lwasinga okubeera fluent lwasinga okutegeera. 2 languages. Number 1, ye language eya English. Number 2, it is the Runyakitara. Now, what am I trying to explain? What I'm trying to explain here is this. Nti nandyagadde kumulaba ku programs nga Frontline, programs nga NTV on the spot, programs nga Citizen Voices. Okay, so, then ne programs ezibeera ku Radio West, ne ku Radio Ekitaguro, whatever the radios they have in the western part of Uganda. But I do not think, because this gentleman, era ne wowe muwira nga ayogera ne ku Bwakabaka ne ku nsonga za Kabaka, he's derogatory, literally derogatory.
So,
literally, that's what he is.
How about we step aside from Romushana the character? And
no. We cannot step aside from Romushana the character, especially Wabanga Taina integrity, because he has no integrity. China integrity at all.
You cannot say that Mr. Romushan has no integrity when he.
No, he has no integrity. No, look here.
But you have mentioned all the TV stations he goes to. You are the one who has mentioned all the TV stations he goes to. Are you saying that all those stations he goes to have no integrity as well? This is the to be very honest with ourselves, but also with the people we serve.
Because I listen to each and every bit.
Yeah, we need to be honest both with ourselves and also the communities we serve. There is a government from China integrity that all mentioning the different TV stations Zagenda ko. Are you insinuating that those TV stations Zagenda ko not as in integrity? Does BBS have integrity or not?
Antikatka, look, Ssali, Mr. Ssali, you're missing the. You should understand that you should understand that the entire media in Uganda is under the grip of the state. The media was captured by the state, like it or not. And I had friends who were working within NBS. Iranga Bangamba, they told me that whenever you would show things Kyagulanyi, they would tell them to take them off. By force. Ochimani, do you know that every radio station and TV station within Uganda, of course you might ask me to prove this, but every radio station and TV station within Uganda, it has ISO people as well as CMI people embedded within them. I believe you know that.
That may not be surprising. That may not be surprising.
The state of espionage and the state of surveillance. Yes.
Instead of examining the character, the personality, why don't we interrogate the content?
And the thing is this, Mr. Gundi, Mr. Ssali, the chamber. For me,
was there resistance towards that bill that Mr. Romushan has been talking about?
Now look here. Let me tell you one thing. This is the issue. Was there resistance? Now I've not followed the bill. That one I would be very honest with you. And
do you know
given the fact
that bill is?
Yeah. But now look here. Given the fact that I am not the last thing I add about that oil, whatever bill and pipeline, it's when Mwanga Chivumbi was talking about it on radio. And of course I had to also have to do my own investigations, but there are so many things that are happening in Uganda, so many things that are happening in the Congo and everywhere that I've also been paying attention elsewhere, that if you asked me about those particular issues, then maybe I would tell you that, okay, I'm very conversant about this particular issue and I know what is going on. But that particular issue, I don't know if there was resistance or not. So I'll have to go back, look through it and see what happened, and then I can come back and make an argument about the issue, whether there was resistance or not, and if there wasn't, what happened. Kakati on the issue, I think issue around to divert in not to bills no. I think I didn't point in Jagalokoland. I would like to wind and summarize up, and maybe you could kuncha zako someday, and then we do some other things. But for me, what I wanted to explain to people is this: the NUP, for the shortest period of time it has been here, it has actually achieved a lot, and it has actually done a lot of work and making it easy for anyone who comes in, even after NUP or even after Kyagulanyi, to pick up the pieces from where he has put things, so far as we speak. In just 1 year, of course, the fight he has put up, number one, to bring the entire diaspora together, that is really good. Not only together, but to make it active. Number three, for me, the biggest thing that His Excellency Kyagulanyi has done is capturing the social media. That footprint NRM has nowhere. No any other political party, no any other political player, no any other person, be it within the opposition or within the government, Museveni's government, that has actually managed to counter and manage to dominate the social media space as the National Unity Platform, as well as His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu has managed to guide to dominate it. For me, that is a very, very big plus. The reason as to why the war in Ethiopia has managed to be prolonged and managed to fall in the favor of Abiy Ahmed's side is because of social media. Definitely, Sudan, you're speaking about Sudan because of social media. We are speaking about Egypt, Libya, all these other places. It's all because of social media. So what that means is that for as long as you have that space, for as long as you're controlling that space, anything can happen at any one time in one way or the other. Because whereas people might downplay it, so many things have been achieved on social media. I've seen so many Ugandans doing what we call Twitter protests, They go and bombard particular accounts, and people have to actually retrieve the so-called statements that they make. For example, the German embassy that was congratulating Museveni, it was bombarded. Guys did activism on the Facebook page as well as the Twitter handle. Then they had to remove their congratulations. They forced the so-called awards that were supposed to be hosted by DJ Khaled in order to sanitize Museveni's image. Those awards were taken out. We have seen things like people protesting on different accounts of the World Bank, IMF, and so many other things that they have done, especially on social media. And all these people are not paid. People are doing whatever they can within their media. The reason as to why social media is very powerful is this, and that's why I even I'm surprised that you know. Okay, I do follow Romushana, blah, 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 but I don't really take these things very serious. But this is the issue why social media is important, because people will say about social media, Museveni and social media, blah, 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 blah. Now, people do not understand the role of media. The role of media is very, very paramount. Give it in all wars that have happened in the world. The First World War, the Second World War. If you control the media, you control the narrative. If you control the narrative, then odds are stacked in your favor. If you do not have the media, you are not going to say anything and people will listen to you. Media is the way of spinning stories, is the way of crafting things into people's minds. Now, of course, media has shifted from mainstream, TV, radio, newsprint, as well as these other media, mainstream media, what's so-called mainstream media, to social media now is the most dominant. Why? I gave people a very clear example. I really like to listen to Kids of Agana by Medin Seriko Seburiba, as well as some other programs on radio. But if I don't get it in real time, I'm not going to get it anywhere, except YouTube, because YouTube is pre-recorded. It's going to be uploaded. I'll find the program there. So it means someone needs internet, someone needs a smartphone to be able to access those particular programs. So people who enjoy these programs, they are forced to have access to smartphones. As we speak today, Uganda has 10 million smartphone users. Sorry, 10 million people in Uganda have access to the internet. And I think something around 4 to 5 million people are social media users. The other fascinating issue is the issue of WhatsApp. I was trying to understand how WhatsApp helps in movements like this one. If you look at programs like, for example, I've explained to you, if someone cannot get that program on YouTube, they will get it in an audio clip via WhatsApp. But WhatsApp also needs a smartphone. WhatsApp also needs data. Now, what is fascinating about this is this, because I've been studying YouTube for quite a year now. Whenever you watch anything on Uganda, any program on Uganda, YouTube has an algorithm whereby if you watch a particular program that you're interested in, the next program or the next 2 or 3 programs are likely to be about Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, are likely to be about NUP, are likely to be about people power and all this kind of stuff. Now, that is, to me, it has been very powerful. And what we are also seeing is the fact that TV, not so many people are watching TV these days. The only access that they are doing, or the only way they are watching TV, is through either Facebook Live or YouTube Live. So media, the fact that we have managed to dominate it for 3 years, I think that is a very powerful thing that people have not been able to acknowledge. And the fact that all live shows that are being held on social media are talking about politics in Uganda, are talking about rule of law, are talking about all these social issues in Uganda is very fascinating. Because these days, like, you cannot talk about anything else apart from politics. And it has forced people to be talking about this left, right, and center in one way or the other, meaning that people are more woke, people are more following more about the events and whatever is happening in our beautiful country. Now, the other issue, lastly, maybe, that I would like to tell you about is that through platforms like social media, Museveni's credibility has managed to be, we have managed to tarnish Museveni's credibility in the West as well as the entire world. Back then, dictators like Mugabe, dictators like the Bandas, dictators like Bashir, Hosni Mubarak, Gaddafi, and all these other people would just say that America, imperialism, colonialism, gay people, LGBT, blah, 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 we shall not accept. You make a statement that condemns imperialism and colonialism, and you'll be a hero on the continent. But now Africans, the Pan-African movements are all waking up. They are realizing that we are having autocrats, we are having despots, that they are just using this rhetoric in order to sanitize their atrocities that they're doing in one way or the other. And this has worked as a result of, you know, Bobi Wine and the movement dominating that social media platforms. So what that has done is that it has tarnished the credibility of Museveni and his entire network. What we also see is that by tarnishing the credibility, Museveni has been put under the microscope by all his other allies and all these other players. And what we see is the deteriorating cooperation between the Ugandan government as well as the US government. And we all understand that the US government is the biggest financer of Museveni and all this kind of stuff. Now, why is it deteriorating? What signs, what actually shows that there is a deteriorating, the relations are deteriorating? I don't know if you have been following the NSO group and the so-called Pegasus spyware story that has been recently been revealed. I've actually been doing research about this thing because I have an episode that I'm working on, because we do understand in 2019, February, Muhoozi Kainerugaba was approached by a Israel Secret Service lady pitching the Pegasus software that is being manufactured by the NSO group. And they pitched it to him, he accepted it, and he said that they would continue conversations with the father, of which the father accepted to buy the $10 million spyware in 2019. $10 million was spent on paying for Pegasus spyware. $10 million. Now, Pegasus is a very interesting spyware. Now that is just the installation fee. For every 10 iPhone phones, it will cost you $650,000 to spy on them. For every Android phones, it would also cost you the same. For every Samsung phones, 10 Samsung phones, it will cost you $800,000. Now, you also, on top of that,
do you realize
on top of that,
thing you are saying right now is a paradox to your assertion that social media has weakened Museveni or exposed him, for that matter. When you cite all these things and networks that Museveni is using, and then continue in the same lane to tell us that social media has exposed Mr. Museveni, yet he continues to work very closely with that exact same network.
No, you're missing the point. You've missed the point. You've missed the point because you're tarnishing you tarnish the credibility. When you tarnish the credibility, the people who are dealing with him, because Museveni has managed to always work undercover, but now he's on the surface. So whatever he's doing is now. Look, let me tell you the significance. Let me tell you the significance of the Pegasus. Let me tell you that. No, let me tell you.
Damage have you done?
Okay, let me tell you the significance of the Pegasus scandal. Now, this is what happened. Pegasus is an Israel spyware. And we know that Israel's biggest ally is the United States of America. Now, when the Israelites sold the Pegasus spyware to Uganda, they have been telling the entire world, because we had leaks that came out in July that showed how many countries in Africa that were using Pegasus. And the chief among these countries was Paul Kagame, because Paul Kagame was cited to have hacked into Karen Kanimba, the daughter of Paul Sesebangina, to hack into her phone, as well as hacked into phones of Ugandan high officials like Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, as well as this gentleman known as Adonia Yebare, and so on and so forth. But chief among these other people was Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. It was alleged that Kagame, using Pegasus spyware, hacked into these people's phones. Now, fast forward in November, everyone thought that Kagame was the only person in control over Pegasus. But what turned out was, with the recent revelations in the Washington Post, was it the Washington or the Wall Street Journal? Recently, it was discovered that Pegasus was being used to hack iPhone phones, WhatsApp, as well as Facebook Messenger and all this kind of stuff. So what happened was that Apple, Facebook, did a lawsuit against Pegasus in the US. And now we are seeing evidence coming out showing that Pegasus was used on US diplomats. 11 US diplomats were being spied on using Pegasus in Uganda. Now, 11 diplomats, you can do anything. But bro, you can spy on Ssali, Mayanja, and all these other people. But if you spy on a US diplomat, that is something different. And it is the very first case, it is the only case that we know of where Pegasus was being used to target high-ranking US diplomats. Why is that very important? It is very important because the United States is the chief or is the biggest ally of Israel. And Israel is the biggest ally of the US. Now, what that means is that it has left US and America into strained relations. And who messed up these strained relations? The man himself, who? Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, in conjunction with who? Muhoozi Kainerugaba. And that's why, for me, I think that the reason as to why Mr. Abe Kandiho was actually sanctioned, it might be because of the human rights violations, but chief among is because of this Pegasus scandal. Because after these revelations were revealed that US diplomats were being hacked by the Pegasus spyware, and yet Pegasus had said that the spyware cannot hack US numbers, like the +1 code +1 numbers, and then we see diplomats being hacked, the ambassador and all these other people being hacked. So the people were raging, and they say that Pegasus has to be #1 sanctioned. They have to be on they have to be put on global Magnitsky sanctions and all this kind of stuff. The same week later, a few weeks later, we saw that Abe Kandiho was put on under the global Magnitsky. Now, this is my own hypothesis and maybe analysis. I believe that that $10 million spyware cannot be left in the hands of any Tom, Dick, and Harry, or the so-called intelligence agencies in Uganda. It has to be amongst people who can be highly trusted and amongst people who are within and close to Museveni's circle. Chief among those people is Abe Kandiho. Why is Abe Kandiho? Why do I think that Abe Kandiho was in charge of Pegasus? I think because Abe Kandiho is a close cousin, or is a first cousin of Janet Kataha Museveni, is also related to Mr. Adonia Ayebare, who is the Ugandan representative to the United Nations. And Abe Kandiho is also the chieftaincy of military intelligence in Uganda. And we understand by the time when this spyware was being deployed in Uganda, there was no strong institution, military as well as intelligence institution, with the exception of the CMI, that is the Chieftains of Military Intelligence. The only other strong institution you can say it was the SFC, because Abe Kandiho is the person who is actually responsible, solely responsible for bringing down General Kale Kayihura and his entire network. Because you cannot speak about intelligence in Uganda and don't talk about Kayihura. And Abe Kandiho is the one who brought Kayihura down. And after bringing Kayihura as the CMI commander, ever since Kayihura was taken out, the police has never been the same. Look, we are 8 months in. We don't even have a deputy IGP, let me say. ISO is no longer heard of. That is the External Security Organization. And the most ISO, ever since Kaka was fired, is nowhere to be seen, because after taking Kayihura out, Mr. Kandiho embarked on taking Kaka out so that he would be on the top. So that is where Kandiho was on top. And also the allegations, that the idea that that Abe Kandiho provided intelligence that was sufficient for the US to label ADF as ADF as a terrorist organization. They said that intelligence actually came from Abe Kandiho. So for me, to my own analysis, I believe that Abe Kandiho was sanctioned because he was in charge of the Pegasus spyware. And you cannot sanction Abe Kandiho because of human rights violations and leave the other people that were listed by Elliot Engo, the gentleman who forwarded this proposal to the US State Department, people like James Birungi, Don Nabasa, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, and all these other people. Because if you are talking about human rights violation, all these other people would have gone down with Abe Kandiho. But the fact that they didn't go down, it is quite interesting to me. That is what I thought. And what is interesting is this, that these things are very complex, because what I saw is that Abe Kandiho, being in charge of military intelligence, what that means is literally needed so much with the war or with Uganda's invasion in the Congo. So why would you put sanctions on a person like that? My conclusions were that, of course, the United States of America wants Abe Kandiho out. Because when you are put under the global Magnitsky sanctions, you're not supposed to be anywhere near anything American. Or if you want support or anything, you cannot deal with America and all this kind of stuff. Or, I mean, you know how these sanctions work. So for me, that was quite very interesting. And Abe Kandiho has been a very right-hand man of Museveni and of this entire network. I mean, if you go into different analysis, if you want to, maybe some other time we can come here and break them out, especially people who try to talk about the Muhoozi project. For me, I don't believe that there is anything like a Muhoozi project, but I believe there is a Janet project, because we see that the Janet has more power within Museveni's circles than any other person. If you're looking at power within Museveni, it is Museveni first, and then you see Janet there. and then Muhoozi maybe can come in third or fourth, whatever. But Muhoozi is not anywhere near power because Janet Museveni has more people working for her within the SFC, within the government, the ministries, and all these other people, the likes of Betty Amongi, the likes of Magogo, the likes of Anita Amongi, the likes of Magogo, the likes of Thomas Tayewa, the Makerere Vice Chancellor. So many people are literally strategically placed to make Janet Museveni look good, other than to empower Muhoozi to take over. So what I envision is the idea that Museveni will literally become old in the chair as Janet controls the entire system, as well as Muhoozi controlling the entire meter. Now, that is just my hypothesis by bringing so many chips together in one way or the other. But what is very interesting, my last point, is the idea of Abe Kandiho being that he is also a first cousin of Janet Museveni, and Abe Kandiho is a brother to Adonia Ayebare, who is also a Ugandan representative to New York, as well as the United Nations. You will see people, permanent secretaries, the likes of these ladies. What is that lady, permanent secretary, Ministry of Health? What's her name? Diana Atwine. She was bought up by Janet Museveni. That is one. Okay. You will see people like Frank Tumwebaze. Frank Tumwebaze is one person who is untouchable. Every year, Frank Tumwebaze has to be there, has to be a minister, right? Why? And also, Frank Tumwebaze is married to Diana Atwine's sister, who was also bought up by Janet Museveni, who actually got a lot of contracts to house COVID patients. You're looking at people like Shatsi Muselule, a marriage that Janet Museveni orchestrated between his son Muhoozi Kainerugaba and Shatsi Muselule, and now we are seeing Shatsi Muselule getting. So I mean, it's a very big wave. But those are things. But so thank you very much for hosting me. I do appreciate, and yeah.
We are going to come back for a conversation about the projects. There are so many projects. Of course, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament has also been deemed a project, an incoming project. I don't know how true that is. There's the Muhoozi project. There's the Janet project. There are so many projects. We are going to come back to interrogate those different projects. I think this is the beginning of us having honest conversations. Of course, you are going to have contestations of ideas, which is okay. That happens in participatory democracy. I don't think we should stop it from happening within our different circles of conversations. I appreciate your courage to come on to the conversation and try to shed some light. I think I'm going to continue inviting everyone who is interested in sharing their opinions and pretty much allowing each and everyone to come and have these conversations regarding what is happening. Muchala Laila Nankunda, we appreciate you following us. Kitegezo otegedde nti waliwo omulamwa wano kyekikubeezezaawo. Erinnya lyange oba oyagala oddiwandiika liri Ssali Ssali mu kifo ky'okuwandiika SALI. Eyo site eriri mba sikyali Muganda. Eryange erina kubeera SSALI. Byenja okukola sigojja bimbuulira, byenja okukola bijja kuva eri abo abaagala okubiwuliriza. Nange bwe ndaba nti nno kyetaaga okwogerako, nja kukyogerako oba kikunyiiza oba tekikunyiiza. Ebyo bibyo nkitegeera. I will talk about anything. None of the bullies, of the internet bullies, can stop me from saying or speaking or sharing my opinions. You can write all the nonsensical comments that you want to write. Just know, nze Ssali Henry Sekitoleko, mutabani wa Sekitoleko Salongo Sajjabbi, togenda kunstopinga okwogera kyonna kye njagala okwogera. Kasita manya nti waliwo omuntu ayagala okukiwuliriza, nja kukyogerako, nja kukyaza omuntu yenna gwe njagala okukyaza ku platform eno. Kasita wabeera nga waliwo ayagala omuwuliriza, omukyala Laila Nankunda tajja kundemesa kwogera kyonna kye njagala kwogera. Nze Ssali Henry Sekitoleko. Bw'oba oyagala okumanya ebinkwatako okusinga, oyongera okunoonyereza otegeere who am I engaging with. I like to engage with people who want to share ideas, people who have the capacity to interrogate ideas and pretty much share something that is going to be beneficial to the country I may tolerate your stupidity, but I will not continue to encourage it. And while I will not delete any of your comments, njagala zireka buli muntu yenna yenna alabe amagezi go wegenkana. Kyenjagala okukakasa manya nti nze Ssali Henry Sekitoleko mutabani wa Sekitoleko Salongo Sajjabbi. And I'll bring whoever I want. It's up to you. You either follow, if you have time to follow the conversation up to the end. Watandise okuyomba kuva jo na postings wena postings aniko ngendo okuchaza paka kati okyayomba welumya mutwe gwa bwerere nze Ssali tolina kyoyinza kunkola osobola kunnemesa kwogera kyenjagala kwogera. Nja kwogera ku mwami Kyagulanyi bwe kiba kyetaagisa omwogerako. Nja kwogera ku mwami Museveni bwe kiba kyetaagisa omwogerako. Nja kwogera ku mwami Besigye kiba kyetaagisa omwogerako. Tewali kugenda kuŋŋaana kwogerako. Buli omu nsobola omwogerako mu kapasite yange nga Ssali Henry. Era nja kwogera okwogera kyonna kyenjagala. Njagala okwebaza mmwe mwenna abatugoberera abasobodde okubeera nti mubaddeko conversation. Mukyala Christine ngenda mumukomyawo ng'afunye internet wasobola okwogerera awatuufu. Nja kumukomyawo. Whether the likes of Nankunda like to hear from her or not, that's their problem. We live in a democratic society. Participatory democracy is important, and we shall continue offering space to each and everyone who wants to share their opinions. Even you, Nankunda, if you feel like you have the capacity to engage in an intellectual conversation, you're welcome to ask for that opportunity. I will offer that opportunity to you if you are comfortable having an intellectual conversation at the same level as myself. This is the State of the Nation, and my name is Henry Ssali. Thank you so much for following us.
This is the State of the Nation. Irifa Uganda. We are deliberate, we are reasonable, we are uncensored. The State of the Nation with Henry Ssali.